Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be in the world. Welcome to tradertv.live. We're seeing North American stock futures back in positive territory once again this morning, coming off another mix showing yesterday. Overall, U.S. markets still on track for a bit of a negative week so far, ever so slightly to the downside, with the NASDAQ down about 0.5%. And 1.6% for the overall week, but 0.5% yesterday. The Dow and the S&P overall relatively flat. We had comments yesterday from Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen suggesting the U.S. economy still requires more stimulus, COVID stimulus, for a full recovery to take hold, pointing to the $1.9 trillion package that the Democrats are currently working on to get passed through both the House and the Senate. Individually this morning, we're watching a couple of interesting names. Roku, for one, reporting aftermarket yesterday, up 2.5%. We'll have a look at Roku shares coming up here this morning. Uber down this morning. They lost another court ruling over in the UK. We'll talk about that. And Palantir, big bounce back to the upside this morning after sell-off yesterday following their share lockup expiration. It is Friday, February 19th. 2021, tradertv.live starts now. Here's a look at Asian markets from the overnight session. You can see Australia leading the way to the downside, 1 full percent. Everything else relatively unchanged. We had the Nifty there in India down about 1% as well. Let's go over to Europe, see how things are shaping up so far. Bit of a bounce back for European markets. They've been to the downside, negative for 3 straight days here. We have Spain leading the way, up more than 1%. We'll slide over one more time and have a look at North American markets. As I mentioned, all 3 U.S. futures pointing to a higher open coming up this morning. TSX futures here in Toronto, not so much, 0.1% to the downside. Brazil's open trading lower. We have Bitcoin back to the upside, both crude oil and gold sliding this morning, 1.6% there, guys, for oil. We've had quite the week for energy markets, oil specifically, with the weather heading through the southwest, Texas specifically, still trying to recover from what happened, I guess, earlier, Monday, Tuesday this week. So oil trying to pull back here a little bit this morning. We have Roku. We have a whole bunch of little ones moving around this morning as well.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting way to end off what has been a fun week in the markets here, guys. Just quickly on the position board, I'm not actually long WAT. WATT, this is on our watch list. That last execution, I got out at 588, but on a short trade. But either way, I'm not actually in this position. The other one, I think that's right. Palantir broke that big 27 level, and that's definitely going to be a big one to be watching today. Palantir, of course, lockup expiration, and then making a bit of a bounce on, I guess, a day 2 type of bounce. And speaking of that, we'll get into a short seller report on UAVS as well. That experiencing another bounce, but. Like we always say, you stick to what is moving. That's what we're here for. It is a wild market. The overall market, however, and we like to check in on the ES and the NASDAQ, as Brendan showed you up there, not necessarily moving too much, but we are to the upside after a little bit of a sell-off, Sean.
Look, guys, welcome to the show. We're here. Thanks for the comment on the cool sweatshirt. Yeah, you can pick up one of these, Trader TV Live. And on the back, it's pretty cool. It says, "I'd rather be trading." So, and we just had a meeting with our producer, and he said, I said, well, it's Friday. I said, yeah, the worst day of the week because we can't trade tomorrow. But as you guys remember, look, if you don't learn anything from the show, I think that you guys do. But I talked about it. I talked about it with Mark Roberts as well. I called it out. We talked about the 3-day rule on Palantir. If you bought it yesterday at that bottom, like I said, I actually even gave the times. I was like between 2 to 4 o'clock yesterday was the time to buy Palantir. If you did that, you're long at 25. It's at 27. Put that 7% in your pipe and smoke it, because that's not a bad return there in one day, 7%. So there it is, Palantir. Merry Christmas. I still think it goes a lot higher. I'm in it right now. I'm long at 27.01. This thing, I don't think there's any stopping it. You saw Kathy Wood yesterday buy it as well. She's on the Sean bandwagon there. So just watch out for Palantir going upside here today.
Okay, yeah, lots to get to this morning as far as what is moving around. It's going to be an interesting end to the week. As I mentioned, we're still kind of negative overall for the markets on the week, but looking to get back to the upside here as we head towards the open on Friday morning. Before we get into it, let's get over to the desk and say good morning to Valeria.
Good morning, Brendan, and hi guys. Have a great positive day. Please hit thumbs up so we can get 5,000 likes, and let's get it started, Brendan.
Going to be an exciting one as well. We have a big guest coming through a little bit later on this morning, guys. At 11:15, our friend J.R. Ron from MindMed going to join us. They announced an acquisition yesterday. We're going to talk about that with J.R. Ron coming up at 11:15 this morning, guys, so make sure you stick around for that. Wanted to mention this little drone maker. We've talked about UAVS many times. AgEagle Aerial back to the upside. They responded to a short seller that came out yesterday in the afternoon this morning. This thing is just skyrocketing at the moment. I don't have the chart handy, guys, but if you can grab that chart, just straight higher. They responded to this short seller comment that came out yesterday. We saw this thing just fall off the earth in the afternoon yesterday, but big bounce here.
Yeah, and a few weeks ago, in the midst of all these short seller reports that have come out, it's just been a noticeable trend. You'll see that ridiculous, or I shouldn't say ridiculous, you'd see a big drop off in the stock that absolutely craters it on the report. Sometimes there's follow through. In this case, in UAVS's case, there was that follow through, I guess, in the last hour of the session. You can sort of see that pivot point, like right around like $10 after it had come off 15%, when it absolutely flushed at 10.25. And of course, that's just a small portion of what happened to the stock throughout the rest of the day. But the real activity started here on the 11 break. It stalled out at 10. And every time I just sort of noticed, and it's similar to like if there's a share offering, well received, has a nice little gap the second day, maybe gap back to the upside and then hold some levels. And that's exactly what you saw here. The first significant pullback showing that resistance at 10. We gap into that range and then start holding that area in the pre-market, and then it's essentially buying on a bit of a breakout at that 10. It comes all the way back to the starter point at 11.50. I got trail out of it, which was probably a good out for my last little bit here, the last quarter of the position at 11.50. So this is a trade I'm going to start looking for a little more heavily. If we're going to see these types of moves in these short seller reports, there's going to be opportunities on the back end, whether it's that rubber band effect, sort of snapping back on the first day, not in this case, or on the second day when you see some consolidation and the gap up higher. So I've been on the other end where I'll read the report and say, yeah, this does look pretty weak, pretty fraudulent, and then have a strong bias to the short side of the trade when you kind of have already missed it on first day. So pretty happy to see UAVS work out this time. Take an idea, put it into practice, finally able to do it here.
I want to bring everybody's attention, so I retweeted this last night from everyone's favorite engineer, apparently here. I'm not an investor, I'm an engineer. Elon Musk talking right now about fiat currency, obviously negative real interest. He talked about that. Only a fool wouldn't look elsewhere. And then he goes, Bitcoin is almost as BS. So that's not a good statement, right? As fiat money. The key word, though, is almost, right? So I don't know what that was going to do. I did retweet that. I just found it interesting that he's normally sort of a Bitcoin bull. And then you see today, Bitcoin just saying whatever to that kind of a comment there yesterday. I don't know if it was a good, like if he meant it to be a negative or not. Bitcoin up to 57 next week. 52,750 right now. So we'll look at Mara, we'll look at Hive, we'll look at a few different blockchain names here today. SOS is a popular one for you guys. So we're just going to look there. I just wanted to bring that up. Follow on Twitter, but that was an interesting thing there from Elon. So we'll see what that can do. The only stock he owns is his own, Brendan.
52,989 all-time highs overnight after those comments. It just went straight higher. Even after he can say whatever he wants, apparently, about Bitcoin, and it'll just still go up. Let's bring in Mark Roberts here from Sun Lake Strategies, and we'll have a little discussion on what is happening this morning. Bit of an interesting look once again. Heading into the weekend. Good morning, Mark. It is a busy Friday morning. I want to start off with some of these energy names. Once again, we've had quite the week in energy markets with this crazy weather that's moved through most of the U.S. now. I mean, Texas still just in the worst of it at this point. Is there an area that we might not be focusing on right now as far as energy stocks are concerned, both on the nat gas side and oil, that you are excited about?
Most of the names got to we wouldn't call it extended levels, but to resistance, should pull in some. But the list of favorites still remains, for me anyway. Devon Energy, DVN, EOG, Chevron, which Mr. Buffett has been involved with. You could go down the list. I wouldn't go too deep down because a number of those companies have had some financial issue when oil was very low. They've been propped up. They've been lucky. Oil prices look like they may be topping a bit. So I'm waiting for more pullbacks in the days ahead.
Yeah, I was reading last night that production might increase, coming up in the, coming weeks and months. So, yeah, it looks like we are first day this week. We're seeing a little bit of a pullback as far as oil is concerned. Let's talk about earnings. We're kind of getting over the hump now as far as reports. We're, on the backside of the busiest week now heading into Friday morning. Is there one or two that are standing out for you this morning as far as better than expected maybe from this week?
John Deere today was exceptional. That should roll into quite a few ag names. The name you looked at, I had not known, the drone company. I'll start to follow it. It's an interesting perspective on the industry. The smart guys in the clean tech area have been looking for any disruptive type companies that will make a difference going forward as far as helping farmers and helping climate people understanding better in producing food and agriculture in general. So all of these names, just keep your pen wet and just start writing them down because that's the future.
Yeah, UAVS. I mean, this Bonitas Research, I've never heard of this research company before. Apparently, they joined Twitter in 2018, I read this morning, so not around very long. But yeah, back to the upside this morning for UAVS. Before I bring in the guys here, I want to talk about some vaccine names. Johnson & Johnson with news this morning. There's Pfizer, there's BNTX as well. With more news, is it getting to a point with these plays that people are just sick of hearing about it? They just want more vaccine to be available.
Yeah, I think Johnson & Johnson is going to be the game changer. They have a one-shot. At this point, there has been tremendous work behind the scenes on their two-shot, or we'll call it a one-shot and a booster. I think they'll be able to get out millions of these over the next few weeks. I see basically the whole situation is a game changer now. Those that couldn't get vaccines over the last few weeks are all getting it this week and next week that I talked to. So it's moving down the food chain. The state governments are getting more vaccine. The only places that are having problems are where governors just can't seem to deal with logistics, and that's created an internal nightmare. But vaccines will be coming quickly, and that's good news.
Look, hey, Mark, hope all is well. And yeah, I can't wait for a vaccine. We don't even have anything going on here. I was telling you on Wednesday, I believe, that my 90-year-old grandmother still hasn't even got a phone call yet about a vaccine. So it's kind of ridiculous over here. But let's go on something else right now. Palantir. Mark, you remember, I'm sure, on Wednesday when I talked about that 3-day rule, you completely confirmed that. You said that I wasn't just blowing smoke up people's rears here. And look what happened yesterday. Palantir, the exact thing that happened. I talked about buying it from between 2 to 4 o'clock on Thursday night, and it held. I've never seen a stock, really, to be honest with you. I think it did 250 million shares yesterday. And look at this level. It held this 25 like it didn't even think about breaking it really at all during the whole day. I believe that's going to be a solid bottom. I've just bought here on a 27 break, but I also bought last night on this $25 dip down to 25, and I think that's basically, and here's the daily chart. I mean, me and you talk about clusters all the time, and if there's not one right here at 24, 25, especially off that bottom feed yesterday, I like Palantir. I think we get back to this 50 period, which is another thing that I know we both look at there, $29. Is there anything that we're missing? I know lockup is over, but that doesn't mean that the selling is over. I mean, just because lockup was yesterday doesn't mean they can't sell today, right? That 250 million shares seems pretty significant to me yesterday from a volume standpoint. Any take here on Palantir? I know it's a popular name with our viewers.
Yeah, I think I may have been a little misleading. What I was explaining that day was A, agreeing with you,
Yeah.
but B, the fact that the range was wide. And what worried me, we figured it out, it's roughly 840 million shares could have come out
Yeah, 80%.
from that lockdown.
Yep.
And that's the problem. You never know how much of it is going to hit the market.
Yeah.
So from that point of view, I wasn't exactly sure if 24.25 was going to hold,
Yeah.
but it held, and I would have been a buyer like you. On the upside, question again, how much stock would have come out and whether or not it could have lifted faster and sooner. But I think it did exactly the picture perfect situation,
Yeah.
hold and lift in the afternoon.
That scares me when we say words like picture perfect, right? Nothing is supposed to be that easy. So I didn't load up down here. I still think we could, like you said, we have no idea what this market's going to do. I mean, we have some ideas, but we don't have that crystal ball that we're always looking for. It's under my bed. I just can't find it. But this 22 bottom could be something there on Palantir. So I do also want to watch that. I don't want to caution. I don't want to say to traders, let's pile into this one. I'm actually more exposed to something like DraftKings, which I think has a lot of upside to it as well. I just like Palantir for what it means, for as far as some of the investment opportunities with the FBI, with some of the contracts that they have. And then this is another point I wanted to get at, and then we'll throw it back, which we'll wrap pretty quickly here today. What about when you hear things like ARK Investments, Kathy Woods, like you get other people invested yesterday, and I put out a tweet again yesterday. I'll see if I can find it here real quick. Oh, here it is right here. I'll show it to everybody. Kathy Woods yesterday, ARK yesterday, bought 5.2 million shares there of Palantir at some point yesterday, and they're building a position. Again, just from your experience, you outnumber us easily here. Where do you look at what other people are doing as far as, I know it's different time frames and things like that, but ARK is hot right now. There's everyone talking about Kathy Woods and some of the things that she's doing. Is that like a wise thing to do? Follow what other people maybe are doing? Or do you still really stick with a lot of your own research and just using this as sort of a backstop, knowing that at least there's some money chasing this stock?
Yeah, I read probably 20 to 30 research reports a day in general, just to get the sensibility. It worries me because there's so many analysts that are coming up to price where many of these stocks are. Yes, you're going to get your consolidation phase, if you will, where the techs will come in, the value names will lift. Nobody is ever sure how long that duration is. I watched the 10-year bond. I think we're moving higher in rates because the economy is starting to come out of a dismal situation.
Right.
Many don't necessarily agree with me yet, but I think that's the case. I have invested in a number of the ARK names and funds with a little bit of my, we'll call it rainy day money.
Okay.
Nothing substantial.
Right. Yeah, and that's the same thing what I'm doing right now. We're just picking it apart. We're going to have you back on Monday, I believe, if all is well. I wanted to talk about rocket financing, rocket companies here, RKT. There's not much to talk about right now. Their report, I think, comes out, I think it was the 25th, so it is going to be next week. And I just want to point it out to you, because I know that you dabble, obviously, in some trades as well. But this 20 bottom right now that we're kind of looking at just looks pretty sweet here on RKT. And again, not to put you on the spot, I don't know if this is a name that you cover at all, but do you like rocket companies at all? And then if not, let's take a pass and then discuss this next week when maybe we're have a little bit more on this. But for me, I like this, and I just want to mention it to all our viewers and to yourself because there is earnings next week, and we know the housing market is really hot fire right now. And I'm just wondering about some refinancing ideas and stuff like that with Rocket, formerly Quicken Loans.
The answer is it's nice to see the clusters are developing. There isn't enough unusual volume coming into this. And for me, I'm going to take a short pass,
Right.
but we'll look at it after the earnings.
Okay, I love that strategy. We like to look at things after earnings as well, and that's why we didn't buy some of that Palantir before earnings there, and we waited for it to settle down. Mark Roberts from Sun Lake Strategies, ladies and gentlemen. The stock father is in the building, but not for long because we have to let you go, Mark. Thank you so much once again for all your insight, and it's always a blast. Have a great weekend.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
All right, guys, if you haven't done so yet, make sure you take a second and head over to the new site where we have a new home for the watch list. If you haven't maybe missed the past couple of days, there's the link if you need it. Valeria will also help you out with the link in the chat if you need it. All you have to do is register one single time. You can access the website as many times as possible. So make sure you take a second and register for the website. Guys, we have the brand new site with the watch list ready to go this morning. So let's have a look at what is moving around in the pre-market here, guys. Roku going to be the first one that we talk about. A bit of a muted reaction to this report. Aftermarket, yes, it was higher. On a decent report here, the ever famous ARPU number that we talk about, the average revenue per user, decent growth, $5.62 $5.62 increase year over year for the quarter to $28.76, guys.
Yeah, that was like a 25% beat on the estimates there. But not the estimates, sorry, year over year. And if it's even possible for a stock like Roku, when looking at the daily chart here, to be sleepy when you have a double up in just a couple of months' time. And we sort of talked about this when analysts who are making adjustments from 2 months ago adjusting from prices like 270, and we're essentially hovering around highs. And it's been, like I said, it's been a little bit of a sleepy stock, and I don't know that slumber, for lack of a better term, I should have come up with something better than slumber, if that slumber is necessarily going to end, but the trend is certainly going to be a solid one. I like to be buying, the interesting thing here is that we actually had this dip a couple of days ago on the 17th into like a 435, 440 level, and I was pretty convinced that there was going to be that kind of an opportunity in the post market, or at least in the upcoming days or after earnings came through. And I'm a little bit surprised. Sometimes you'll see some whipsaw action where you get an advantageous fill if you just sort of set a bid down here. I don't think there's going to be that type of a dip in Roku, despite the fact that we've seen, a little bit of selling going into yesterday overall in the market. Tech space was down a little bit. I don't necessarily think Roku is going to be one that's going to test that 434 low. All that said, that is exactly where I would plop a bid in front at like 440 just to see if there is a bit of a dip buy on it. As far as momentum goes, I'm looking at 460 and 470 to the upside on Roku. It doesn't do a heck of pre-market volume, so it's not always one that you want to have with half an hour until the open. So I don't put stop orders to go long on something like this with its dollar spread that it currently has. But 460, 470, I like those for breakout trades if we're holding an open range below that price.
We've been doing this show now for a couple of years, even though we just went live last April on YouTube. I remember, and I think Rob remembers this as well, and Neil and Brendan obviously remember it, when I was asking, does anybody own a Roku? And it was just my father-in-law was the only person I knew that owned one. And I remember even on the chat, nobody even owned a Roku or anything. And I talked about them getting into those TCL TVs and things like that. Did I buy any shares? No. But look at this move up for Roku, man. We were talking about it down here. $100, $60, $50, what is the story with Roku? And then the story is very, very clear with Roku, and that is that it's a moon gang type of stock, and I think it continues, man. Even though today we're only up that 1.76%, it's a loved stock. It's a cord cutting. Cable is obviously out the window right now. We don't have cable anymore. We use the same thing, Amazon Fire Sticks, not a Roku, NVIDIA Shield. There's a lot of different products that are out there, but for some reason, Roku just keeps on heading higher. So be very, very careful. There's no wiser words than don't get in on the first couple minutes of Roku unless you really have some kind of conviction or a longer term idea. And by longer term, I just mean a half hour. But for me, similar to what happened to Walmart yesterday, remember we wanted the short. We took the short right off the open, and then it went $2 against us. And then we reloaded at that, well, we averaged in at that 140 mark, and then it went down to 138 back again. I could see something similar to that happening with Roku. So I don't know, Neil. I would love those 440 levels that you're talking about. I think this 450, 452-ish, that's a decent level there. But yeah, even yesterday, like bottom 443 yesterday in the pre-market, and then it ripped up to 462. So that's $20 there just off the open. So be very, very careful with Roku today.
All right, guys, let's go to upgrades and downgrades. Yep, Roku is on here. Pivotal Research upgrading Roku, putting a $400 price target on it. KB Homes here. We have Hub Group. We have Everbridge. Nothing else really terribly exciting. KHC was very, very strong yesterday. We did talk about Kraft Heinz here. To the downside today on a downgrade from JP Morgan, MRC Global as well, guys.
Yeah, I like the LG. I don't have it myself, but in hindsight, Sean, definitely might have, well, not definitely, maybe should have been looking at some Kraft Heinz yesterday as a bit of a breakout on that particular name. Just sort of noting that you see the upgrades and downgrades, and it's a good place, of course, because we do have our watch list, and make sure you're checking that out. But we do the upgrades and downgrades, so you can see some other catalysts, and every now and then you'll see a stock that might have slipped under the radar a little bit. Now, saying it's pulling back is a little bit of a, I want to say, overstatement. It's only down like a 1% or so, but it has made a clean break after its slumber through like 36. So a lot of times I'll look to like, 36 to 40. It never quite got to 40. You look back at like, 37.50, 38, something along those lines on a bit of a pullback if it's going to make a bit of a move. Look, everyone's familiar with the company. Everybody uses their products 100%, and you just sort of feel like there's a bit of a shift, and I know some typical value, some typical cyclical type of names have not necessarily had the gains that you would have expected. But here's one that has woken up its slumber, Brendan.
Let's continue along here, guys. The top court in the UK, UK's Supreme Court, ruling in favor of some 45,000 Uber drivers, in fact, ruling that they are employees and not self-employed contractors, making them or giving them access to benefits, paid vacation, things of that nature over in the UK. This could be, the start of something negative for Uber. We've been talking about this story for over a year. California went through this. Now the UK ruling for the drivers, guys, for Uber. Downside here this morning.
I buy on weakness. I mean, whatever. This is a UK ruling, right? So we'll just see how it affects. There are different locations here, obviously, throughout. The U.S. is the big one, and then Europe as well. Canada, not super important. And Uber down that 2.5%. It's not a great look, right? It doesn't set precedent. Yes, it does. So we'll see if they take this ruling to other, like pretty soon you're going to hear people, obviously New York and whatnot, dropping probably similar, requests for a look at the labor laws there for Uber. So I don't know, man. People love Uber. I think it's one of the better reopening plays that we could actually look for if you're trading stock. And we talked about that, and it's a no-brainer. I mean, since their earnings report, once it broke this 40 level, this is 38. More importantly, these levels here, 40, 41. It's been off to the races up to 60. Like, you're not going to get a cleaner move. November 8th, I mean, you are, but November 8th, down here, 34, doubled basically in 3 months. So everyone's loving Uber. I think if there's going to be a profit-taking opportunity, it's right now, and that's just what's happening. I think it's profit-taking. I mean, when you get a stock going from 48 back January 27th, all the way up to $64 by February 9th, that's 2 weeks. and you're getting, let's call it, what, 30% in 2 weeks. So that's a big bump up right there. It did break this 59 level. That's not very pretty for me. So we do have Uber on the list, and I only wrote down one. I was thinking higher, 58.50. I mean, my list's pretty short today. I only have 58.50 there listed for Uber, and I like the long, but it's, now that I think about it and I'm talking through this and the logic, I just think it opens up Pandora's box a little bit for further rulings. Obviously, that's why it's down 2.4%. I'll throw to Neil in a second. Let me just see what the imbalance locator is. Okay, Palantir's on there. I don't think that's, I'm long, and I don't even like to see that. I'd rather it be nothing there, because sometimes this can affect it the wrong way. I'll talk about that after. CCL, and I don't even see Uber on here, so we'll see what this means. But it may be a short through these bottoms, Neil.
Yeah, what's interesting is we've seen this story before play out, certainly in California, and usually it doesn't react as much. You'll see it like 0.5%, 1%. So seeing it down 2.5% is a bit interesting and kind of a bit of a warning sign, I would think, today. I want to get to Tyler Pacheco here asking about AMAT. I don't think, look, we can't put every single stock that has earnings on the watch list, certainly, and it's not something against AMAT. It's on 180,000 shares pre-market, not usually the most active of day trading stocks, but it is up 6%. There is a global chip shortage. They beat. It had strong numbers across the board, and I think as everyone in the space is ramping up production and that demand stays sort of sky high, and we're expecting that to happen throughout the year, it sort of behooves us to at least look at something like an AMAT, and you can look. You're going to see here, and it's not going to be hard for me to show you that you're breaking out again on this particular stock. Just what I would note is a deceleration that's certainly been happening, and that's been true across the entire space. And AMAT has been no different. So each one of these breaks, pullbacks, then regain to the highs has been a little bit more shallow. And then you have essentially on this earning number right back into this sort of 120, 121 type of top. So that's going to be a big line in the sand. We've seen a lot of tech earnings sort of pull back. Sort of the day after the release, or get sold off a little bit. So this gap, in order to be sustainable, you know what I'm going to say here, if we're not breaching that 121 in the first half an hour of the session, there's a really good chance that this thing closes below its open price, wherever that might be. Right now, it looks like it'll be that 120, 120.50, so below the 121. But if it doesn't breach that early on, it's highly likely that we can close a little bit lower on AMAT, despite the good news.
Yeah, it was a little light on volume in the pre-market for Applied Materials, but there were, someone was mentioning there, a number of upgrades. And I mean 4, 5, 6 different upgrades, price target increases on that stock today as well. So we'll definitely keep that in mind for Applied Materials. Let's bring in Arun here and have a look at the overall market. We'll check out the futures, see what we need to know for a Friday morning, Arun. It feels a little bit quieter today.
Quieter. Also, we're also inside that range. 38.75. That's been in play for almost a week and a half now, and that's still the bottom. We bounced off of 80 yesterday. We bounced off of 80 before as well, before last week. But at the same time, 38.75 is holding strong, so that's going to be the bottom end. That's going to be the bottom of the range. Now, top end of the range, I've got 39.40 as a midpoint. That could potentially be something to watch, but 39.60 is the top end level. So if I can get a setup in front of 40, what I'm looking at right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to watch this to be positive. I'm going to have the bias positive until we break 15. If we can get back under 15, then I might start looking for some shorts in front of 40. But until that happens, I'm not going to be stepping into any shorts just yet. At the same time, if we break 40, I would not jump into it right away, because there is some overhead going to 50. The risk reward ratio isn't going to be worth the long at that point immediately. So what I'm going to do is I want to see how it reacts if it comes back down through 40 again. So it's got a break and then come back down. If we get a new level, then we can maybe catch along as well. But keep in mind, 39.60 on the top end, 38.75 on the bottom end. That is the big range that we've been bouncing between. And 38.75, that is going to be the big level that I'm going to be keeping an eye on. We're going on almost a week and a half now as we close out the week. And that level is going to be big, especially if we get to the downside through the bottom of that.
Great stuff. Thanks so much, Arun. We'll check back in on Monday. Enjoy the weekend as we head towards the open here on a Friday morning, guys. It's interesting to see, we've already covered the entire range of yesterday's session, and we're not even, towards the open here. Sean, you had a thought on AMAT there?
No, I actually, thanks for bringing it back. No, actually, I had a thought about BTC here. That's why I just want to double check with you, and you did bust it out there. I think we just touched basically the all-time high and then bounced off of it. So we get to the 53,000, which Brendan talked about 52,989 as being the previous all-time high. And Bitcoin, just as we were talking about sort of AMAT there, obviously, not related to Bitcoin, but Bitcoin was started to go, and I just want to bring it to everyone's attention because it was talked about there on the chat, Bitcoin going now, breaking through this 52.7. Like, the thing is, Bitcoin now, I believe, since adoption looks like it's going to be more prevalent in bigger communities, stocks, therefore bigger communities like a Tesla, like, you know, people putting it on balance sheets and whatnot. I don't think it's going to be as volatile as it's been, where when you get like $10,000 moves in one day. We all know about that. We all know about the halving, things like that. So just look, Riot right now, this is why I want to bring it up. You have this 72 level. I don't know, Riot's not moving that much right now, but it gotten hit. There's been share offerings. There's been a lot of things happening with Riot, but I just want to bring it to everyone's attention that you do have this 72 level that we could look at just in case Bitcoin does take out that 53 and then moves today. It could go to 55. And then you have a very, very similar thing happening here on Mara, a very, very similar chart. However, this is kind of breaking already, this 44. So I think I like Mara a little bit better, but Riot and Mara, we're still in nicely here. 10 cents on Palantir in the money there, but 44.84. Oh, and I do hear a lot of people, here's my Palantir trade. We're still long at 27.01. It's not doing a hell of a lot. I hear everyone talking about Palantir on like another Reddit name or things like that. I don't know. I don't really read Wall Street Bets. I never have. I do know obviously about the community. We saw it all yesterday. I don't think Palantir is a Wall Street Bets name, but if it is, good for us, I guess, because we're long. So that's not why we're long. I just played it out with you guys with Mark Roberts, why I like the long. You see this 25 hold there. So we'll just see what happens. But I'm celebrating a nice 7%, and it's going to be more than that 8% win here from yesterday's buy at 2 p.m.
Yeah, that was a great, just a line in the sand, as we like to say, or a wall down there throughout the entire afternoon yesterday. I just could not trade below it. Let's talk about Palantir Technologies again. We'll come up with what to expect here this morning, guys. There's really no significant news in addition to what we've talked about throughout the week. We've mentioned multiple different catalysts here this morning. I mean, Sean, give us your take one more time for anyone just coming in. As far as upside, what could we see here?
Okay, so we've talked about this numerous times. Palantir, apparently a stock that I like if you're new to the show. Look, it's not my favorite name. Let's not get this wrong, but it is a name that I've been picking at. I do like it. I do like some of the rhetoric that's behind it. I like some of the contracts here. I think, I mean, here goes Riot moving right now. I think that this is a longer term play. I think we get back to 40. I think we get back to 40 probably in a month. I know that doesn't seem very long term, but you know what? As far as building a portfolio, finding a name that maybe is not super, super hot yet, I think Palantir might be there. The 50 period is 29. Normally, I don't get too bullish until we get above that. So if you're talking about where do I think we go, I think we go to $29. Now, I mean, today, that's very possible. We did 260 million. Like I said, I left early to go spend time with the family yesterday to watch that Perseverance, which was amazing.
That was awesome.
It was amazing. I can't believe it's going to be there for 10 years, and Curiosity is still on the moon, or on Mars, which is amazing. But anyways, I'm not even that obsessed with all that stuff. It's just my kid is, so I'm getting involved. Okay, so $29. Look, I think that's a possibility. We're not going to see anything from yesterday, but here's the drop down. And you can see we did have this is a 3-minute chart. We did have some kind of resistance here. I guess it was support, which is going to turn into resistance at 28. So we dipped down to 20, broke through 28, hit 27.40. Now we have some 28 levels. So I'm just looking to get back to 28 here. If I can take this $1, I'll probably take it out, and then we'll see what happens. You do have some big size there, and there is still that big. Well, I mean, there was as last time I checked this big imbalance. Now it's even getting bigger to the buy side. So I like Palantir. I think it's a long-term play. It's nice to have Kathy Wood behind it as well. And let's just put that into our longer-term play. Look, I'm buying it as a swing trade as well, but that's that long at 25. We'll maybe take this out if it gets to 29 or 30, but we're still holding our base, our core position, sub 10. So I like Palantir, and let's just see where it goes from here.
I just want to show the level 2 there because you showed those that sell imbalance or buy imbalance, sorry. And if you want to see here, all morning long there's been these 300,000 NYB or New York book orders, sometimes layered at multiple levels. Those will be eligible to to get printed on that opening print. So that 4 million or whatever it ends up being come 9:30, that buy and bounce could get chewed up rather quickly. There's another level I was looking at just in addition to that. Going to go back to here, 27.30. Right on the 17th, you had a little bit of a dip into the close. By a little bit, I mean like a $2 move into the close. And then it tried to bounce back up. 27.30 was the top. I think to sustain the move, this 27 break, 27.30 is sort of that key price. If it gets through that, I think it can get to 29.50 as well there, Sean. But I also look at yesterday's top right at the open, 26.30 pre-market lows. If this thing has any kind of a dip in it, that's where to buy in front of it. At least that's what I'm looking to buy in front of. So pounds here, 26.30. I think if there is any flush in the afternoon or 27.30 rejects, I'm looking at 26.30 on the way back in for my support.
All right, let's talk about Dropbox next. Another earnings name from aftermarket yesterday. Another one that's kind of quiet this morning, not really doing a heck of a lot as far as volume or price movement is concerned. Fourth straight quarter in a row for the beat side for Dropbox. So if you look at daily chart, this thing's been in a bit of a range, 25 down to 22 for DBX. But we are lower today, guys, even with a fourth straight beat for this name.
So their non-GAAP took a hit and was actually a loss, but that was simply because, like many other companies, they are going to more at-home working, which means obviously they're paying a bunch of money when it comes to rent for office space, that sort of a thing, and you're going to take some charges to make that conversion. They're not the first to have gone through this. I mean, Twitter, name a bunch of other companies in Silicon Valley that have gone through it. So that would be a one-time type of event, and if this is the kind of thing that leads to better productivity for them overall, maybe even some cost savings down the line, it can be to their benefit. You also look at this stock as one that has been bouncing off the 50 period here. It's already, and this is the unfortunate part of not being able to trade everything in the pre-market at every single price you want. I look at this like 23.15 down here on the daily chart, and you know, it sort of stood out when you look at the 50 period moving average, and then you have right here, and I'm not even in at 6:30 in the morning. It makes a bit of a bottom. I'm very, very light shares, and then just at like a half an hour or so ago, it dipped down back to that 23.20 for a great little support trade. I mean, here's why I probably would never have it. I've traded Watt a bunch today. I've traded UAVS. I've dabbled in Palantir, a couple of trades. And I don't mind trading in the pre-market, but Dropbox done 170,000 shares. So that setup looks great, and this is something we'll talk about all the time. The setup looks great. I like everything about the daily chart. I like everything about that little dip support level down there. But the question becomes: A, could you get shares? B, if you got them, would you even like the fill that you're getting due to the spread and liquidity? And then what happens when you try to get out? So that's why I wouldn't put that in the box for any kind of for any kind of pre-market trading in Dropbox. If it tests that on volume after the open, that 23 area might be worthy of a bounce there, but that would be a bit of a sign of weakness if it broke that or even tested that low right off the bat, guys. So I don't know if there's a trade here for me in Dropbox.
Yeah, I haven't really looked at Dropbox too much. It's not moving, overly fantastic. I'd rather look at other names. We do have Kevin O'Leary coming next week, guys, as well. So I want to talk to him all about Robinhood and all about his opinion on the markets and things like that. That's coming next week. So stay tuned for Kevin O'Leary, and then MindMed CEO J.R. Ron coming today as well. So it should be a good little run for us here with guests, and get your questions ready. I'm going to figure out what to ask him. Tweet at me if you want to know anything about Kevin and what his opinions are on anything. I'm sure he's a pretty opinionated type of guy. And watch Shark Tank tonight, I guess. I don't know. Is it live? I don't know.
Yeah, Monday, in fact. Monday, we're going to have Kevin O'Leary coming by. He joined Robinhood, and we're going to talk about it, how his experience has been so far with Robinhood and his take on this whole meme stock ordeal. So that's coming up Monday, 11 o'clock, I believe. QuantumScape, guys, big move down late in the day yesterday. $10, in fact, sell-off late in the day yesterday. Trying to bounce back a little bit here. No additional news. We had the earnings, the first earnings report earlier this week. Back to the upside, though, for QS this morning.
Yeah, congrats to anybody that caught that. Like I said, what the hell was up with that? I had people tweeting at me because you guys remember, again, we're long $50, and we talked about that. We bought that before the earnings report. I don't know why my chart's not going back that far, but we took it off. I mean, I can show you here on a daily chart. We did go long QS right here, right before earnings. Just thought that the risk reward was there because you had the bottom of 45. So going long 50, as long as they didn't miss, I didn't think that, miss badly. I didn't think that they were going to be testing right back down here. So now we're in the money 25% or 30% or so on this QS move. But yeah, what the hell was this? I left, like I mentioned, at about 3 o'clock to make sure I got home for that 350 landing yesterday. But wow, a big move down for QS, but good times. I'm still in my position and it's bouncing back. So that's a good sign. I'll probably take some off if we can retest 70. I mean, 50 to 70 in 2 days. Sometimes you got to take 40% or whatever the hell that math is on that. Yeah, 20 on 50. Yeah, 40%. Sometimes you got to take that and run. So we will do that if it does come up to 70 again. But this is why I say that it was good, sort of a good thing that happened, because it let us see that this level right down here, 62, is, let's just say, I don't know what's going to happen here. I hit a grenade. Okay, yeah, let's just say it's pretty hot fire. Oh, I like that. It's a little slow motion action there, Robbie. I like that. I think that 62 can hold down here. So if you are looking at QuantumScape and you like that name and you think that you want to get into it, I think you can start to probably build a position even now. I think 66 is reasonable. But if you want to give that another 10% down, it's a 60. I think that's very, very reasonable. 62, 60, things like that for QS could come into play. On a 1 minute chart, it's 411,000 shares, which for some reason is really high for QS today. So it wants to break, and you have some key levels here. I wrote down on my board here 69, and again, that's just some of these levels upside. I think you can get a little more aggressive if you wanted some 68 levels there as well. We'll look at 69 for QS and then take out 72. I don't know, Neil or Brendan, if you know why this happened there yesterday in the afternoon. The market didn't really pull back that much, but QS did make that dump. So we'll do a little more work to find out why that did happen. But as far as a technical level, this 68.50 looks pretty good. If you want to get a little bit better, let's take 69.
So one of the things we talked about yesterday with QuantumScape and have been mentioning is make sure you go back and look at the perspective where the stock has come from and how volatile it's been. I said the $60 stock, 10% moves are fantastic, but when it starts to extend, you can get some really, really wild price action, and you don't know if you're right or wrong within like a $1 type of move. Now, when you have those types of things happen, you look to see where these previous peaks were. The last time it bounced, after that huge drop, it got cut over more than in half. It stalled out at 75 and the next day at 73. So when you start testing back into some of those levels, I guess it just, my guess is that it sort of sold off on a failed break into that next level. So it got to 72, not quite to that 73 mark. And then it was maybe like a technical little sell. But 61 was support we gave in the pre-market when we went over the stock. It held that at 62. So I'm going to look back to the pre-market low for a dip at 64. I mean, it was certainly a trade that looked good yesterday at 61. Similar thing looking here at 64. And then you even have that support at 62 because that was the bottom at the close.
Look at Bitcoin quickly, Brendan, before we come back. It basically did exactly what we said it was, not what we said it was going to do, but when I brought to your attention there, it touched that all-time high again of, let's just call it 53,000. Who cares? There we go. Out another 15, well, just took 15 cents there on Palantir. Just took out 5%. Yeah, this 53 there dropped down. There it goes. Okay, so now it's showing my position, guys. So as soon as I got filled, I was going to tell you that the positions on the bottom were incorrect, but I think we're probably okay now. It just triggered once I got hit there. But Bitcoin did hit that 53,000, so watch out. And then on that move, we just talked about Mara and why I liked Mara so much. There's the out there on Palantir. Both of those are 5% outs. They're not, I'm waiting for more. You can see what Mara did, and that's why I want to bring this to your attention there. Mara touches that 44, the level that we talked about, and then came back down there on that drop. So yeah, it looks like we're pegged to BTC right now. Watch out for that all-time high break of 53,000.
All right, guys, the other group that got really hit yesterday in the afternoon, late in the day, was the cannabis sector. The entire group, it was all of them, led by Tilray here. Back to the upside for Tilray this morning, about 3%. But another group that, yeah, look at this, really got sold. 31 down to 26 into the close yesterday. So we're bouncing back here, guys, but still kind of feels weak for cannabis stocks.
Oh, yeah, I'd say it certainly feels at least a little bit weak here. Despite that weakness, and it's very similar to QuantumScape here, when you sort of have those little pullbacks, you start to think about where the rubber band action might come, like where will the bounces tend to be. Sold off after the earnings, didn't give it the juice to hold some of these levels. And this is like just a clear 31 breaks, it's pre-market low, multi-day low, and then the floodgates open up. But it's gapping to the upside. I'm looking at 28.20, so a UAVS was different. It was a short seller report causing the crash, but it's almost a similar thesis. It gaps to the upside. And if we're not taking out lows at the open, then I'm looking for a 28.20 break. So I don't think I've really been on the long side of this trade for maybe like a week or so, but since actually not even sure the last day that I was looking for the long side. But today, I do like a breakout for momentum at 28.20. If we take out the low of the day at the open, then we go away from that stock and look to something else. So I think our position board is correct. I am short Watt at 634. I've been pretty active in that one. It's doing a lot of volume. It is on our watch list, but looking like 650 is a pretty key level on that stock. 28.20 for me on Tilray.
Yeah, I want to talk about a favorite stock that I don't trade often enough, and I should be trading it a hell of a lot more because this is the #1 stock at Day Trade the World for this month anyways. A month is still more than half over, but SNDL, what up, Sundial? Yeah, if you're going to look at marijuana names and cannabis names, this guy's down that 4.83%. I mean, remember when this one was 60 cents, 70 cents? We were looking at that, and then it had this huge rip to the moon, 480. This is Reddit-fueled bids there on some of the cannabis names off some good Tilray earnings. Oh, not good, but Neil just talked about those. Tilray also mooned to 75. Now you're seeing that back to 30. So all these names basically chopped down by 75% or so in the last week. I was going to say month, but in the last month, it's still up. So right now, you have this 135 area that we're looking at. That could break on SNDL right now to the downside. If it does, I think it's definitely worth a short. SNDL, man, the #1 company here, our #1 company, #1 stock at Day Trade the World. If that's incorrect, I'll get back to you on that. But that's from what I've been told, SNDL. So you got to trade that, man. Oh, already 18 million shares. Looks like it's going to break 135 right here.
They did issue some warrants here this morning as well. So it looks like about 90 million in proceeds garnered there from some warrants issued from SNDL. So yeah, a little bit more catalyst there. Let's go to XPeng. Some of the Chinese EV makers bouncing back to the upside this morning. This group's been weak outside of NIO for the entire week, but XPEV holding up strong here this morning, guys. There's no news on this group, but as far as the overall market is concerned, we're seeing some more attention being put back towards these names that have been ignored for the past couple of days.
So, I mean, look, XPeng got absolutely, crushed, very, very rapidly in the morning, and then sort of tried to recover. Now, I'm a little skeptical of the gap up here. It just seems it's a little interesting to me. It just feels a little bit too strong in sort of my opinion. Oh, it just got out of Watt, so that's not a nice little winner there. 650 is a great level, man. 634, just able to get some out at 40s there for a 40-cent win. So I'm going to be in and out of that stock like absolute butter, but I'm a little skeptical of this XPeng move. Certainly, ignore some of these pre-market levels when there's no volume, and there's no volume on essentially no volume on XPeng here. But at the same time, 42.50 has been a little bit of a top. If we go to the higher time frame, just so you can really see, the trend is not fantastic. That's the other reason. There would be, I guess, some support down to like 38 if it goes any further. But if we're not, at this point, if we're not sort of breaking above this like 42.50, like yesterday, you did have that sort of pre-market high there. If we're not breaking through that level, testing back towards like 43.50, you're probably looking at another red day here in XPeng. So I'm going to stay away from the long breakout style trade on this particular name. If it does any kind of like a catastrophic drop, like it did in yesterday's action, I mean, you look at this bottom at 40 where it just slammed down, broke, probably got some stops triggered, and then snapped back to the upside. I think that gives you a trade. So I'd look for any kind of reverse parabolic move down, or parabolic move down, I guess I would say, to get the snapback trade in XPeng. But I'm not really sure why it's gapping back up today. So I'll stay away from taking any kind of position pre-market, but just look for a really excessive dip to maybe look for a buy that way.
All right, guys, touchdown. I don't know why we have this touchdown one. We keep talking about that one, but there it is. Touchdown, and we're wearing some red craziness there. Yeah, so there goes Palantir, 40-cent win right there. We just took a little bit off. Each one of these are 5% out, so 5, 10, 15, 20, so we have 80% left, and it was a nice little chicken winner dinner for us so far on Palantir. But look, I like that XPEV there. I like that 43.50 level that Neil mentioned there. I think it's been well overdone to the downside. Brennan's brought us, again, that there is some love for this a little bit on the street, so you got to watch out for that. Talking about ARK looking to buy. I don't know if ARK actually bought some of this or if it was just mentioned by Kathy Wood, but 42, why did I like I guess it was right here, this 43.50 area or so. It looks a little bit better on this 20-minute chart. If I can blow this up just quickly for you. Here's 43.50. It topped out there. What day is today? The 19th. So the 17th, we had some issues at 43.50. So if you really want to buy XPEV, and the market's XPeng, of course, the symbol XPEV, if you want to buy this one, I think you can wait until that 43.50 breaks. Again, more talk about what's on the imbalance locator. So we'll look quickly here with only 6 minutes to go. It's still Palantir time, guys. 6 million shares to buy. No worries. We're long at 27 right now, as hopefully you can see that on the board there. BAC and CCL. Oh, by the way, loving some JP Morgan right now as it's looking at another high. It looks like here, 145, 146, man. And shout out to Daryl, who was buying this thing hand over fist with me, sub 100. Congratulations, man. Not only do we got a dividend, but we got a 50% win here on JP Morgan in just under 3 months.
Yeah, that was an impressive group all week long. The banks have been very, very strong. Let's talk. A lot of people still coming in here, guys. Let's talk about this Edge Eagle Aerial Systems little drone maker. Got absolutely crushed in the afternoon yesterday. Bonitas Research coming out with a short report on them. We've never heard of them before. As I mentioned with Mark Roberts, if you joined us earlier, I looked it up, guys. They joined Twitter in 2018, so only 2 years for this Bonitas Research. The company came out this morning, countering everything that was said about them, obviously. It's interesting, though, it wasn't able to get back above these levels from midday yesterday, at this point anyways.
Yeah, and these panic levels are sort of what I go with, right? So when you have the secondary flush, it was off of, I call it like 1160 or so resistance, and then a breakdown specifically at 1130. When it tried to bounce in the like 2:30 or 2 to 2:30 in the afternoon, it was about to $10 that it failed. So sort of on the idea that I've been sort of bandying about so far this year when it comes to these short seller reports. If it gaps back into that price range and holds those levels and can break out, I'm going to look for the rubber band long type of idea here. I did get that trade. It happened to be just after 8 o'clock. It did work right into that 1160 level, so that's clearly going to be a key one for me here. Now, normally if I was looking to short, I can tell you exactly what I'd be doing, and that's if it popped into like 1150, I'd be shorting into that range. As it got to like 1175, maybe at best 1175 to 12 would be my stop out. So those would be in play for potential breaks. The stock was at $14. It could certainly come back a little bit further, but let's not forget. I mean, it wasn't the greatest report in the world, guys. So obviously, it could come back to the downside. I'm not. This is one of those things where I'm not going to be buying it on VWAP. This is not a positive story where the momentum is based on a positive catalyst. So the whole idea of buying dips at VWAP is not something I'm going to be looking to do on this particular play. I like breakouts. Because that's where shorts get stopped out, or maybe a really big dip that held at 10 would be interesting for me. But this is a play that I'm going to continue to make. Hopefully, every time we get one of these major flushes and we get day 2 after a short sell report. So 1 for 1, but been tracking that idea for a while.
I see CTXR right now, the #1 stock in the pre-market for Day Trade the World. CTXR, Citrus Pharmaceuticals here. CTXR, not on our list, so I'm not really sure. We'll have to find out what's going on with it. But here's CTXR up that 15% today on the daily range. A lot of people talking about it on the chat, so congratulations that you guys found this name. I don't have it going back as far as I need to. This thing started going off around like 3, 4 a.m., so you're going to have to wait to see when the market started opening up there. You're going to have to see about some key levels. But for right now, CTXR, that 171 there, bottom, looks pretty spicy, man. When that breaks, watch out. But I don't know the news on that, so when Brendan gets back to the desk, we'll find out more about CTXR. But the #1 stock right here for the Day Trade the World family.
All right, guys, one more from the bottom of the list. Financial services company JMP, microcap financial services company, up aftermarket yesterday, better than expected earnings on this one. Continuation move all the way to 1150. It was amazing. In the pre-market, we failed at 1050, which was kind of support on that last little bump, all the way down to 850, which corresponds with these levels. And these levels and then these levels from aftermarket yesterday. So I'll be done with this one at 850. But any kind of move back into 950 up to 10, worth revisiting on JMP, guys.
Yeah, look at this Uber, man. Like we just talked about it, and I said that you got to buy any of these dips down here. And again, it was just a little too early in the pre-market for me to hit those, but Damn it. That would have been good. I'm going to have to put some more shares on, at least just to show you guys the kind of conviction that we did have. And then on my sticky note, I don't have too much written down here today. I have QS, I have Uber, there's CTXR, MTC, XPEV, and NEO are some names to look at here. But it already broke that 58.50, man. That was that Uber level that I liked. So there was that as well. Let's check out to see if QS is running without us. Kind of, but just bouncing around that view up. Look to get some more downside there, watching a 69 level on that name. And then, yeah, I do like that. We just talked about XPEV, but only a minute to go right now. So 50, what would I like? 43.50. So we're still a little ways away on that. Oh, quick check before we go over. Let's just check the imbalance locator for Canada. For NASDAQ, there's SNDL. We talked about that. WDC, Western Dig. What up to Apple? What up to Tilray? I don't see much else. What up to Mara right there as well? So a few names. CTXR down there as well. So a few names on this, but Neil, man, only 30 seconds.
Yeah, only 40 seconds to go here. But Palantir just bounced back off of like 27.40, well, 27.44. But that 27 even looks like it might have to do some work in the pre-market, guys. And look, there's a lot of names that we're watching. I actually have in order, so I'm ready to catch any kind of a serious dip if it goes down to like 26.50 or so in front of that 30 level. It is Friday. It is the end of the week. Of course, it means the last trading day, but we're going to have some fun trading this market. Lots to be watching. Palantir, Tilray, Sundial, of course, as well, right at that particular bid, which is great on the daily chart there, Sean. But let's drop that countdown. Let's drop that bell. Miss V's wearing the green, and the market is green. 3, 2, 1. Let's get the party started.
All right, we are open and we're ready to rock and roll. We're watching QS here to see where this one opens up. It's not open yet, so we can move on from that one. Palantir, man, we're still waiting. Did it even print? Yeah, there it is. Yeah, so we just saw some ends. So it has printed that big imbalance right now. So that's
no
over with.
Sundial.
Yeah, so if you're doing that, you're doing that. And then Neil just mentioned, I just heard him mention Sundial there, and it does crack that 135, guys.
You get it? Oh, sorry. No,
I don't think I have any shorts. Oh no, shorts are free.
No, we got the shorts. I didn't eat that level. I tried to hit 35 when it went, but was unable to get shares. I guess maybe I could have just had 34s, but I was trying to get the actual break price instead of paying down a little bit on it. So unfortunately, missed that 135.
I have 34s.
It's already at like 32 there, guys.
Yeah, I have 34s. We'll take a little bit out of 30. Whoa, big level at 31 there, guys. Let's see if it hits it. We'll see. We do have a bid. No, I don't even have a bid out here on this name, so we'll put a bid there. Just get hit real quick at 31. A nice little short on 34. So, yeah, pigs get slaughtered, taking a little bit of profit on that one. But bang! There it is. Palantir now to the upside there. Nice little move off that 27. Goes all the way to 27.40 and back down. Little volatile here for Palantir, guys. Back up to 40. Let's go, PLTR.
Yeah, and Watt, there was another break on this stock to downside. And again, I missed this 580 break. I was shorting this all morning long, and now we're taking out this sort of pre-market low, 540. Now, it traded lower than that at 6 a.m., but this is a big level getting burst. If it snaps back to the upside, any kind of rubber band, I'm shorting whatever pop happens here in Watt, guys.
Yeah, okay, I'm just working out this, and I'm going to go longer on Palantir as well if it wants to go. There it goes. Palantir going to the moon here. Let's get some out. Nice little trade. Bang! Through 50. Let's just keep going on Palantir to the high side right now, guys.
And yeah, I just got that 50 break. Gonna hang on to some of it as well. Nice little break on Palantir, but I'm trying to get this Watt, guys. And I finally got that Sundial at 134. So I'm just gonna park an order on Watt around this like 575, 580, just so I can look away and trade some of these more active names like Palantir.
Guys, how about that buy yesterday? 10%. Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night. But it's not even over yet. It's Christmas morning for Palantir today. Those of you that are with me, we bought yesterday 25. Hopefully you're cashing in on that one today. And like I said, I'm targeting 28. We'll see if we can get to $29 today on a little bit of a bounce here on Palantir. Remember, man, if you didn't sell yesterday on lockup, maybe you're doing that today. So watch out. This thing could still fall. It is going to be an aggressive day here for Palantir for sure. Let's check out QS. Still looking at that 69, a big break there of 66.50. Let's see if it touches 69, Brendo.
Another one that's been very active this week, guys. Plug Power back to the upside. You can see 1, 2, 3 days downside after a new deal in Spain announced back on Tuesday. But we're back higher today. Just broke 54, guys. Big move for Plug.
And we'll fry up some more winners. I got only like 1 cent on Sundial, but it's bouncing to the upside. And I'm gonna cover it here. Actually, you just saw me got flat on a Sundial, and this is because Tilray broke the tops. Remember 28.20, got long, just got some out at 28 like 50 or so. Gonna hang on to a few more shares here. If it does a bit of a dip, I'm not gonna necessarily dig into this like dig into my grave on the stock. Momentum play through 28.20 on a bit of a snapback. So it was a depressed stock. It's now come back in. I'm out of all but like 20% of my Palantir here. So the question is, can it hold 27 even? If it cannot, I'm going to get out of that trade. But into some long trades after originally shorting. And what is gonzo? I cannot believe I did not get that 580 short.
Yeah, let's wait to see here. Palantir, same thing, guys. We did get some out on the high side there. It did break back through 50, and we got some out, but I'm trying to hold this. Same type of thing. We won't give it all back. But you got to watch out for this 2680 here break. And it's going to come right now. 27 is going to come. Some decent size on the bid, but that's not going to matter. Like I said, we have to watch out for lockup here on SND, or not on SND. I'm only in two positions on Palantir and SNDL. So Palantir, they could sell into this move. We are waiting for that. We are also waiting for Uber to hit here at some point. Let's see what that did. 58.50. So we're right at those levels. A high of 58.80 could be decent, but let's watch out here as Palantir looking to break 27. It's going to happen right now, guys. What's up, Brad?
Clean energy name, CBAK Energy, moving this morning, guys. Big pop here right at 9 o'clock. We're up to $9. Just going to check on news on this one, but breaking through $9 right now for CBAT.
CBAT.
Sorry,
ahead,
was going to talk about CTXR if I could just for a second here, because that just moonshotted through $2 and then snapped back. Now, I'm out of Palantir, so the last 20% we're going to take the hit trying to buy a dip. Why? Because I was looking at 26.30 is my original dip price on Palantir. If it gets there, I'm going to like it. Tilray still going to the upside, 40 pennies profit on that. Pre-market high on the CTXR was 198 or so, like around this $2 range. If it just put in a top and can hold below $2, I don't see much of an offer here. 50,000 shares is nothing when it's done 25 million shares. So it's not something that I can really dig into, but I do want a short on consolidation. If it breaks back above to like 03s or like 02s, 03s, maybe 05s, I would definitely be looking to cover the trade. But I want to short on this move just in case it's just made its high of the day. Brendan?
All right, a couple of things. There was an offering on that CTXR today. We also had Twilio with an offering. CTXR also saying that they are now fully funded through commercialization, guys. So that's the positivity.
Okay, yeah, I like a 193 if we can break on CTXR. That should be a good one as well. But look at the volume. We talked about this one earlier, that it was a big stock. So yeah, you're seeing it right now. CTXR, big moves today, up 25+%. We're still holding on to the Palantir, but it looks like it's going to break. We were using that 2690 level there or so. So let's just see what happens now. It's resisting. I would sort of thought that if we got down to 2650, I'd let it kind of drop and then smash it back on the way up. But remember, man, just because yesterday was lockup, we keep talking about it, doesn't mean that today's going to be any better. So watch out for that. CXTR just did the break there.
Yeah, CTXR. I mean, I got some at 95. I chased it, and when I say chased it, you can see my orders. 97. I got 95s. I just tried to get 94s to the short side. But either way, this one looks like it's going to come to the downside. It is fired up here. I just burnt my tongue in this fresh coffee. Thank you, Valeria, for the hot coffee. But probably should have waited a second for that. Brendo, what's up?
Canadian content, guys. Magna International reporting earnings as well. Looks like this morning, in fact. Big move up here this morning. 81.5. Broke right at the open. We're at 83. All-time highs for Magna.
Oh, yeah, well, that was another play on the electric vehicle space because we did talk a little bit about that and, get into some of the names instead of the actual plays itself. Get into some of the producers and some of the part suppliers. That's Magna, so a good play there. Yeah, so we're loaded up here on CTXR. We have these shares, so let's see how far it wants to go down. Hopefully a good play for us. But look at Palantir, guys. Diamond hands. You hold it and you get rewarded right now. So back to the upside right now goes Palantir. We did not get out. We actually took some more at 27. So let's wait to see how high this one wants to fly right now. Palantir, a good trade on the upside.
Yeah, and I think if there's going to be like a first leg support on the CTXR, I keep messing that one up for you guys. 185 does look like a bit of a bounce play. So if it does make a bounce to the upside, I'll look to short into that, move to the upside. If it does happen, but you got to anticipate it before it does. I want to come back to Watt if I can. This continues to at least attempt to die down, but it's consolidating. So remember, I wanted to catch any kind of a pop in this stock. It looks like it could be happening. So I'm watching like a 570 area still to short on the pop back up. Tilray is holding these highs at 28.67 or so. 28.90 or so was about the top. I'm going to hang on through a 29 break. Otherwise, it's got to break even, or 28 even, for me to get out of this long. Brennan?
I saw the story in the pre-market and kind of shrugged it off, but UAL, guys, big move here. 3.5%, 46.50 for UAL, big time resistance. They announced this morning a new non-stop flight, non-stop service between Boston and Heathrow over in London set to kick off. So nice move here for UAL, guys.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I want to get into any airlines yet on some of those plays, but we will wait to see. So our average price now 27.40 on Palantir. We just took some out for those wins, got some out again at 30. It's just moving around. We're going to hold the rest of this one. CTXR, we are noticing that, that 85 might be something. So we've gotten out a couple times here at 87. So we'll watch out for CTXR again. An easy out back at $2 if it goes up that high. But right now, I don't know if it's going to fail or not. Fully funded. Brendan came with that news, so that's CTXR. And then our sundial, we're taking some profits, man. We're short 35 here, and short 34, and we took some out 30s, 31s, 32s. Let's wait to see if it can go below that 130 level, and then we'll hold some of this. I don't have any bids out yet to get out of that one, but that is what it is there. SNDL QS, not in that one yet. Take a quick look on QuantumScape. We do like QuantumScape. I just liked it through 69. I don't think, we're not there yet. It goes as high as 67. Wow. Like, that's a pretty shitty stock to trade up and down. Like, I'd get stopped out all over the place on this one. So let's wait for that big break of 69. That is way too choppy for your boy.
Yeah, if you ever hear us say like opening range types of ideas, look, every now and then, I did this on Palantir. Maybe I should have also done it on QS, but I'd never do it on two separate stocks where you just throw a bid into the ether and hope to get picked up. Worked on Quantum Space. Obviously no dip on Palantir. 64 is going to remain that support level for me. So if it does retest down there, I'm going to be looking for that trade. I'm going to look to start maybe scalping Sundial a little bit more actively here off this 34, 35 level. But for now, CTXR is bouncing back up, and that means an opportunity for a reload that I mentioned. So I feel like this could be the name where it's like 4 or 5 cent type of wins. Maybe you can up your shares a little bit, but have some defined ranges that you like. So I just got to fill there at 94. I'll look to take like mid to high 90s for a short trade to sort of work back into this CTXR. And then, of course, 185 looks like the first support. So take some profit in front of that.
I mean, what do we think? Yeah, CTXR going down, Palantir going up. So good trading happening there. CTXR going up and Palantir going up. What do we think about this, guys? CCL up to $24 right there. If you check out this on a 20-minute chart, we did touch out the other day. This is where we lost on. Oh no, that wasn't. That was here, $23. Wow, we're up another dollar. So that's that $24 area right now on CCL. We're gonna watch out for that if that does break. I think it's definitely worth at least a little bit of a touch to see what it does on the upside. Palantir now going 30 cents in the money up to 27.73. What a great buy that was at that bottom, man. You got to hold some of these. It comes all the way back down, and here it goes. Nice out. We just took some out for 70. You want to talk about some winners, man? Let's just line up the cash again today as we hit one-time daily goal right here for the day. So Palantir upside, we just took some more out. What a great log this is, 27.30 on Palantir. Believe in it, guys. Believe in it. I like this name if you didn't know that already. Another 10%. We're just long yesterday off 25, so cash in if you want, man. And no matter what kind of money you put down, 11% is nice in one day.
Just going to come back to Tilray. It just bounced. It's trying to bounce off 28, and so if I see it coming back in, I'll be stopped out of my long at 28, and I'm going to get into a short of Sundial right here at that 34. I said I would work back into this one anyways off this 34, 35 level, but the fact that Tilray is pulling back is another good reason to take the short position. Berendo, what's up?
Heads up on UAVS. We mentioned the short seller report yesterday. It tried to get up here to pre-market highs and failed. Just broke downside here. Big volume spike through 11 there on UAVS, guys.
I wonder if we could try a Neo here. Like, go Palantir. I don't even want to worry about you, boy. We'll talk about that afterwards. A nice little dollar win there on Palantir. And we've been pumping those tires all morning, so let's do something else now. What about this 55.50 level? We've gone as high as 55.65 here. Forget about the pre-market. We were high. I liked 56 break. But I'm wondering about just dipping in a little bit right now into some NIO and just to see what we can do. Let's just take a couple shares here in the 40s. So we'll buy that right there. Now we're long at 45. So we'll wait to see if that can come into play. A break on this one, yeah, I don't know, man. 55.60. How about this break? 55.65 before we get some more. If it doesn't work out, we're not going to let this one go past $55 on the downside. So 55.65 break. We'll take a little bit here at VWAP just to see, and then we'll wait for a 55.65 break, guys. Palantir off, SNDL, nice little 2-cent winner, and CTXR doing absolutely nothing.
Yeah, and like I said, till Tilray comes back, the final quarter of our position, we take out when 28 breaks, and then, of course, got into Sundial. Gave you this. Look at the range here. It gives you this as Tilray's breaking to the downside. Why not take it 134? Now, there was a bid at 130. Trust me when I tell you there was a somewhat significant bid. I mean, it's not that big when you're talking about 100 million shares in volume, but it's getting chewed through like butter. So call it 125. The next target for me, while I'll probably get some shares out in front of it and then sort of assess to see, and I want to see how big this level might be. And again, if I see something gigantic, I would cover and then look for a scalp long, but I just don't see anything like that on Sundial yet.
All right, guys, I'm already in Sundial, and we're monstrous again, guys, so we'll flush that off. We'll hit the dancing gorillas, we'll hit the air horn, we'll hit everything for you guys, because Batman is in the building right now. We're short 34 on Sundial, and here it comes the downside. We just took some out 29. We'll see if we get some 28s as well. So, we got out of everything there. All right, a keystroke error, but we were short. We just covered everything at 29. Meant to get less shares there, but we got them all. So there that was an out at 29 on Sundial off our 35 short. I want to get more short now. Did not mean to dump that, but it's been a big trade for us on Sundial. A monster trade for us. There goes Palantir to the upside. Long 45 view up, long at the 65 break. Let's see where this one wants to go. Let's go, Neo.
And I'm going to take some more shares aggressively off at the CTXR. I just keep seeing it bounce. Like it bounced off VWAP a couple of times here. And if it's going to hold this trend, it might actually make a test to the high, and there'd be a better short to have, or maybe even thinking about a long. If it gets below that 185, I'm very likely to start shorting it once again. But I think I don't want to look that gift horse in the mouth, guys, and have this one, or have this bubble burst on me, at least this bubble burst on me here. So CTX are going to get aggressively out, probably in the 88 to 90 range or 91 range, not instead of that 185. If it goes below that price, we can go back into some shorts. Sundial does continue to flush here, but it's a slow grind to the downside. And I was able to get some in front of that 130. Now it's trying to hit this 128. Can't seem to get anything. Maybe I'll take some at 129, I guess. Brennan?
One that Mark mentioned this morning, guys. Deere running here. All-time highs for DE, up almost 10%. Gave you 320 down there. Just about to break 330 for DE, guys.
All right, we just took some out on Palantir there, man. Like, what a great trade that was. Like, look at us just getting out. I told you that we'd be happy off this 27 long. Like, look where I'm long today, guys. 27, 27, 27.50 on that break. So right now, we just took some out at 28 there. Good trade. Let's see if it breaks through 28. Off to the races right now in Palantir. Our Sundial trade, damn it. We did dump that at 29. We should have held on to that one. That was a keystroke error, but we still had it, so good for us on that one. And then here we go, man. CTXR, just another win here. We'll hit a swish on this one as we've been loading up that name there. Got a little bit out at 94. Don't know why. Now we come back to the downside. We're still holding the majority of that trade. And then Neo, yeah, what about Neo there? Got out some more at 75. A nice little win for us on this one. Buy 40s, buy 65s, get out 75. Let's see if we go to $56 today, but we're already pretty big today, to the moon here on some of these plays.
And I just got first trade here in Quantscape here. Talked about that 64 level. It does dip down one more time. So it did once, it dipped again. 64.20 does hold. On the way back up, first consolidation happens to be 65. I'm able to get shares here at 64.91. Use the low of the day. Now there goes CTXR. I said I would get back into position in the event that broke 185. So get out, and now we're sort of back into it. 165 was a bit of a wall. And it's not that there was a gigantic amount of shares there on the bid, but either way, it was some kind of resistance. I was able to get out. There you see, last out, and then now I'm back into a short position at 83. Able to get some at 81s. I'll work that down to 175.
Yeah, exactly. We're still short 191 on that name, so we punched the XTR in the face. And I'm going to start trading these more, man. You're normally seeing me just all over these big names, but if they're this easy, then we got to be on CXTR a little more often. That's for sure, or on some of these names anyways. But, you know, you want to talk about a little bit easy here. I don't know if Neo's going to be easy or not, but bang, another win for us. We're going to go 4 for 4 here today on the wins, guys. So we'll go bang on that one, as that's been a monster. The only thing is, man, I should be way bigger on SNDL, but we did get out of that. We're going to look at Uber here again a little bit, if we can, uber.ny. If you ever see us switching between NY and NQ, it's because of the way where the names are listed, right? NQ is going to be NASDAQ, NY going to be up there on the NYSE, the big board. We are getting ready for CCL to break, possibly break through 24. I don't want to hold this one too much because I definitely more bearish on this industry than bullish, but I can't ignore some of these breaks. So here we go, Carnival Cruise Lines through 2405.
Yeah, and just actually just realized I didn't have my stop on QS. I have just put it in to make sure it doesn't get out through the It doesn't take out that low of the day, but it just bounced a VWAP and rejected. If it goes up there again, I will take half of the trade out just to make sure I get some profits in. Just to go back over to Sundial if I can for a second. It's still grinding lower here, and I do have a little bit left, but as it gets close to that 125 mark, of course, I'll be flat if it hits 125.
Look at CCL.
Actually seeing this little bid here, a couple of bids at 125, 126, so I can get out and work back into that trade, of course, if it breaks 125 or bounces back to 135. Brendan?
UAMY, first halt of the day here. It's actually the second one for it, but just ripped from 185 to 250 and halted. Just going to check on this one, UAMY.
Okay, guys, we give the hot dogs out to everybody because, yeah, that CCL was monstrous there. Don't know what happened. I don't know if it broke and everyone just got in, on our backs or whatever on 24 there, but that's why you watch the show, guys. Like 24 breaks there. It goes all the way to 24, 25. I'm getting some pieces out now. Again, big day here already, so good on that move. We talked about Mara and Riot moving on some of that blockchain craziness. Bitcoin just broke, guys, 53. So now you're at 53.1. And going higher. So look at Mara go here. Watch. Let's see what Riot's doing. Is Riot at that 72? We're looking at that 72 mark. So watch out here as some of these names also starting to get going on the high side right now. Neo not as exciting for me anymore. We got some out there at 57.80. That's part of the plan. We're going to watch out here on the downside as Neo falling down. Look at the market, man. Hard to hold longs when this is happening.
Yeah, I mean, the market's starting to come down. We're still positive on the session, just so you guys know. But just to go back to Tilray, we took that out at 128. Didn't quite get the high of the day, but the weakness is still in. And that's why I'm looking at this Sundial 125. I'm just going to get back into position. As long as we're sliding back to the downside, I'll continue the short trade so long as we can get the execution. Come on, give it to me. Is 25 breaks? No. I actually don't get the fill. Let's see if I can get 24 halves. But Tilray trying to bounce here. So if we snap back up, maybe like through 28.50, I'd probably back away from aggressively shorting Sundial at these levels, but that hasn't really happened just yet. Just try to get some 24s there if we can get it. There we go, got some 24 short for the first time on Sundial. If we get above 28.50 on Tilray, I'd probably flatten regardless of where Sundial happens to be.
Yeah, I know you're just looking at Sundial 125. Damn it! Okay, so the thing about this all is I'm pretty happy because now I've realized that instead of trading a lot of these big cap names, let's just stick on these small ones, man. Sundial, it doesn't get any easier than that, in my opinion, and then that CTXR play, man. All of this $2 resistance and that smash to the downside was pretty beautiful there. We've gotten a lot out there at 180, so that's been a big play for us. But I don't want to ignore the cash money machine, which has been Palantir for the last little while. So out some more on this name. Let's get another piece out right now at 69, so we'll do that. And then we'll just wait for 28 to break. But right now, that's been a pretty big cash cow for us the last couple of days, not only on the show. Well, the show wasn't great yesterday. It kept falling, actually, now that I think about it. But I'm still loving that 25 buy. And we're pretty light now on Palantir. I'm going to wait to see if we do get some action up at 28. But good trade there on Palantir. And then even a better trade, because it was so simple and so fast, is get on that roller coaster that are Carnival cruise lines here. Join the Carnival, because up to 24.20 there on that 24 break, nothing but love for you, Carnival, on that upside.
Yeah, and just going to go back to this the Watt. Now, watch out for $5. It continues its flush. I've tried to catch every single pullback, and of course, I can cancel these orders because it doesn't look like they're going to come in. If it does bounce, I'm now looking at 550, but I'll take a 5 even break. This was a 370 stock. It's basically up because it was speculation, sympathy play on some Apple news, but there was no, I guess, no juice to the story is what I can say there, guys. So as long as that's going to be true, you're going to see me be short biased on this stock. I'm not going to be taking any longs in Watt just yet. 550 on a bounce back. Otherwise, it's a 5 even break for me on Watt. Miss V is at the big screen. Let's go to her.
Feel it.
Hey guys, VIOT is a popular stock on the chat today. Viomi is a Chinese company specializing on smart home products. Have you heard about this before? And what do you think about the stock spiking up today?
So the question is, have I heard of VIOT before? The answer to you guys candidly is no, not really. And here's the cautionary tale of what I will say. And this setup is you've probably seen it at least a couple of times before. And it's nothing about it being a Chinese company, but the pattern is the pattern.
SNDL.
You get the oh shoot. Sorry, yeah, I actually just keystroked and got out of all of SNDL there, but watch out, 25 is about to break the upside. If you see a pre-market pop a pop at the open right into pre-market levels and a failure, usually it's going to turn into short. These things get gapped and then pumped into these levels, and then everyone's selling at basically the same price. So file away this 1450 mark, guys, because it's just on a pure momentum and sort of a technical trade. If it cannot break through that, it's likely to be a sell for the rest of the day. Brendan?
There was a minor story on this one as well. Lyft, we talked about Uber, obviously, with the UK ruling, but Lyft coming out this morning saying they're teaming up with CVS, similar to what Uber did about a month ago to make accessibility to vaccines easier. So if you need a lift to Lyft, see what I did there, to CVS to get a vaccine, they will hook you up, guys.
Man, where's Brad? Here, let's do that. Yeah, we saw what you did there, Brendan. Don't worry about that. That was a good one. If you need a lift, talk to Brendan. Did that just work? Did we just get that? Did that guy come through there? Hey, where's the cowboy, man? I was trying to get Brendan. Okay, we'll just do this one then. Oh, he left the building, doesn't like that. There we go. So we'll just do that. There you go. Good joke there, Brendo. But absolutely no joke right now. And we have some money falling down because this Carnival Cruise, I think it was probably, for me, the cleanest play. Palantir, I'm up way more money on Palantir than I am on CCL. But the point of this was we did have that 25 break. And if I can call it up, I'll call it up on this 20-minute chart again through eSignal. We talked about that right there. It was actually 20. That's why I'm long at 06. I actually was very, very patient. Waited for that 05 to break, which was right here 3 days ago or 2 days ago high. 24.05. Now we're going to the moonshot there. So a nice little win for us on CCL. Really, really happy with that one. We're checking back on QuantumScape as well. I have a bid. I know Neil's in this right now. I have a bid down here, 63 and change, just to see. I'm still long 50. Man, I feel stupid not getting out there at 70, but whatever. That wasn't the play for me. Should have been for 40% win in a day. But we're going to wait for this one. Watch to see if it breaks to 62 on the bottom. We're going to see if we can pick some up on the downside here.
So UAMI, I'm just going to call it UAMI, guys, and not UAMY, approaching and just actually breaking that $2 level, previous haul price. You have this level at 188 as well. I'm fading into it, so getting in before that actual key price at that 180, I'll call it 184, 185. I use 2 as a bit of a stop, so I'm only risking a couple of bucks here, but either way, if it falls any further, this could really flush back into 165 here, guys. Brendan?
Day number 2 for Wix. Guys, we mentioned this one yesterday. The website creator all-time highs again today. A little bit light on the volume side of things, but nice move after positive earnings yesterday.
I should be scalping this thing.
Yeah, Wix is a good one. We talked about that with Shopify as well and why we like that name with Shopify. Big movements happening. It doesn't matter about this coronavirus. I think it actually helps some of those plays. We did talk about that, but Shopify did come with not a great quarter. So that is putting some worry, I guess, to some investors, but not me. I did want to get into some Shopify there. We're always talking about it being Canada's pride and joy. Okay, up to $28 now. And here we go. This is worth it because bang, making money in personal accounts, making money on the show. That's what we're trying to do here for you guys. A big move up there. Nice trade on CCL. Neo we're out of, and I'm pissed off I still don't have Sundial.
Yeah, and in and out multiple times here in this UAMY. I mean, the volume is actually very, very good. Just show you guys a level 2, but I mean, despite the fact that it looks relatively thin, some offers popping in at 205, 210, above that 2 even level that you're seeing here, guys. So I'm probably going to be in and out multiple times, just trying to scalp some, but it has halted like 3 times this morning. So if it breaks out of this range, you'll see me run to the exits rather heavily. Palantir broke 28 once, but sometimes the second time through was a better one. I'm going to look for that trade. And then here comes that 195 to 2 level on CTXR. I'm going to dig into that short in front of $2, guys.
Okay, so we are going to take a little bit of QS here, although I like it lower. We just took some 60, what did I have there? I just took it, 63.78, so I just punched in and got that. So we'll wait on QS there. A move to the downside, so we're gonna hold that. You gotta hold, I mean, for me, I gotta hold QS a little bit lower to see if we do touch this 62 level. So we'll get some more in at 63.50 or so. If that comes through, we will, well, actually we're down lower. We're down below. We're basically at this low of the day. I just missed that low, man. I was at 63.20 there. It goes down to 63.35. Just missed that, but we'll take it. It's 25 cents in the money right now. And by 25 cents, it depends where it's gonna print. We're in money a little more than that. So good trade there. CCL coming back in, but we did take some off at 39. Let's get a little more now. Palantir ripping to the high side, looking at that 28, man. I don't have any more levels for it. There it goes. Big time win on CCL, guys. Line it up, knock it down. CCL for the win.
Yeah, and there goes that UAME. Like I said, I get active with this stock, but it's starting to trend back into the downside. So I did take several shorts in here. While the activity was there, I was just sort of shorting in and out, taking a couple of pennies off of each of those big levels I was showing you. Now just hanging on to the short position to see if it breaks that halt price at 187. If that happens, I want to be in position to see if we can test back down to 175. I can actually add to the position if I can get shares through that 187. It's not always a guarantee that you can when stocks break down. That's why I would favor sort of fading into it, getting in before it reaches a key level. Either way, I will try to add, but as I said, can be dicey whether you can get a fill. I got out of Sundial just in time here, both at 21 and then here at 24 on the latest short. If it tests back into 135, I'd like to short that level, but then I can't ignore that 130 was a break. If I see a big enough order there at 130, I'll probably just take 29s and then continue to scalp this trade over and over again, guys.
Bang, like CCL, bang, big moves on CCL. We just saw their QS cancel. We just saw QS go to 64.50. I think I should have took that 70 cents. We did not, so we will relook at this 64.50 level. We put an order there. I think I did. Yeah, I did. So we're there at 64.50. We're still waiting for a downside move. Let's just take this 70 cents if we can get it here. But if this market rips, we could have a decent win on this one. I'm going to cancel this order. Let's just wait. Oops, there we go. The keyboard breaks. We did cancel that order, so now we'll wait for the high side, see if we get back to VWAP, see if we get back to the 66 level. I think we have a decent spot here. Wish we had more on this name, but we do not. Palantir, man, just still going high. I will find out. I got to do a little more work on this. So when we throw to Brendan, I'll call up a few more time frames and just see if we want to go longer here on Palantir. But a big trade here for Palantir for me today. So really, really happy the way that's panning out. And then CCL, man, we're dumping some shares. We only have that 10% left. But what a great trade that was, up to 24.40 right now. Just getting the rest out right at these levels, guys.
I think, we're going to be going in a second to Brendan, I think, for happening now. But I want to come back to QuantumScape. Of course, this is my hit this morning. It broke that 64 level. I got it. It's trying to bounce right now, but if it takes out support, I'm going to get away from it. 61 was the level before that I liked it, lower that I did also like it. So if it continues, I would try one more time to pick up those shares. I did say it might be tricky to get an execution through 187 on UAME. That's why I was shorting it in this range at $2. That's exactly what happened. Didn't get the fill, but was still short anyway, so you catch like a 15-cent winner and then a 20-cent win. Still holding on to some from 98. It could still go down to 75s. That would be the target. But like I said, it's time for happening now. Already 10 o'clock. Let's go to Brendan.
Hey guys, yeah, already 30 minutes in the books. Let's have a look at North American markets here. Nicely positive across the board, top to bottom. In fact, S&P 0.3%, the Dow about the same. You can see the NASDAQ composite 0.5%, but the 100 there just 0.3% to the upside, but still nice to see strength coming back in. Same story for the Russell, 1% for small caps today, back in positive territory. The TSX here in Toronto did get back into the green as well, 0.2%. Brazil, 0.5% downside, the only one on the board so far today in the red. Let's have a look at a couple of things from the watch list this morning, guys. Roku, we mentioned earnings. Yeah, that was a pretty good opportunity. 458, clear support there in the pre-market. Let go, we're down to 444 for Roku. So a nice short there for ROKU. My screen's not switching. There we go. Dropbox, another one that had earnings, gave you that test of 24, which was the bottom end of the aftermarket support yesterday, 24, and then straight southbound as well, down to 23 for DBX. Guys, back to you.
My screen's doing an interesting little flicker there, but they're back now. Sundial comes right up to this 130 level. It's actually chewed through about half of it. Actually was able to get short in the midpoint here, but I don't want 130 to break, so I'm literally going to risk about a half a cent here. Plus some fees, because of course I'll remove liquidity, but it's building the level back up. I wanted to make sure I played that little buy off of the low here at 120 by shorting any kind of or pushback. So 29.5 is my entry price. I'll start getting out, of course, in front of 125, and if it goes to the low of the day, I'll likely, as I was last time, be flat on that trade if it gets to 120 and test that low. There's always another entry to be had. That's why I feel very, very comfortable being active on the name, because getting back in isn't too much trouble here. This is like the fourth time I've been short in Sundial, and it might be like a dozen by the end of the day. You never really know. But if shorting the pops is working, I'll continue along that pattern. Palantir, it's broken 28 a couple of times. 28.10 would look like the next breakout through the fresh high as far as I can see. So I think I'll try to catch that one. work to the quarters and the 50s as well.
Okay, so we did hold QS, and it's a big win for us right there, so we'll throw that money down again. You can get out right now if you want to. It's a nice little $1.20 in the money now for QS, so if you like that, you can take it. I'm going to wait for the 65.50 just to see if it wants to get back to that level and see if we can't take $2 on QS. I mean, that's basically what we're looking to do right now on that name, so good look there. SNDL, I know Neil was just talking about it, but I'm going to go back and look at it myself as well. Down to 128, there resists that 130 level, so that's going to be a good little spot there for SNDL, now pushing through 127. I mean, tons of volume, man, 226 million shares. So you could smash City, these ones to the downside, and see how far it goes. If it breaks that 122, obviously that's the day's bottom there. So look out below for Sundial. If that does come through, QS printing, CCL printing, we're almost out of everything there. And then that CTXR, we still got that 191 short. So we'll see how far this one wants to go down here. We're now 185, 184, some pretty nice wins here on CTXR. Glad we talked about that pre-market.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why we're going to shred this one. And look, when you have these pops, and I always say, don't short into it at 9:30. Don't short into it like into 9:30 or right after 9:30, wait for a bit of a hard turn, and then it's like 195, short it again, and then short it on the way back up into that 195. If it tests this low, I do have bids in front of 175. Those are left over from the previous position. I've actually always had a little bit of this short since I took it at 195. It never actually got flat completely, but I do have to make sure I get some out in front of these levels at 175. Could be its own trade over and over again. And if you're going to be active, which this stock is going to do probably 100 million plus, maybe 200 million on the day, we'll take advantage of here at Day Trade the World. So I'm going to have active bids out all the way down to 175 and then look to reload on each of those pops as long as I can. I do want to come back to at least a couple of names here. Someone was asking about, like, was I involved in JAGX today? No, but I've said it time and time again. Sometimes these day 2, day 3 type of moves can be good, especially when they're coming back in. JAGX has been on the pullback, and it made a nice little sort of opening little push and then failure a little bit in the morning and then try to get in the afternoon. That kind of weakness is usually pretty good. You see it close at like 316. Interesting number, Austin 316. And then it can't break that level in the pre-market. Yeah, that's actually a good thing to be short off of if you're looking for a stock like this. It was not the top of my list because there were so many other names to watch today. But whoever it was in the chat, JAGX, if that's what you're looking at, the weakness after yesterday's failed pops, yeah, that certainly looks pretty good to me. I would just simply watch out for that little morning low that it had at 285, 283 or so, 285. It's about there right now and likely to bounce off of that before possibly retracing.
Let's try a 53 long if it does break here on NEO. We did take a little more long right now. 55.70, our only loser there for the day, and it's very, very small. I mean, it's not even a loser. I shouldn't even call it that. Sorry, NEO. Didn't mean to call you a loser. Okay, UB NEO. Obviously not Neil there. That was the loser stock. Okay, Uber. Look, we wrote it down, and we just didn't get aggressive enough, man. I mean, you could see it right here. Uber 58.50. It gave us that numerous times down here, and I just sat on my you know what, Valeria, and didn't do anything about it. So screw you, list, but thank you for all the profits you've given me lately. Yeah, Uber up to $60. I said that was probably just a weak hands there, getting out on that move. And yeah, it doesn't get any clearer than that for me anyways on Uber to the upside. So boo for me to miss that one. But QS now it's having a problem at 65. Look, we're long at 63.80. I mean, getting out now makes some sense to me, especially if the market does want to sell off here. So let's watch out. If this breaks back down below 64.50, we'll take that dollar and then we'll reassess this. But right now, QS looking pretty fine here, Brendo.
OPK, medical equipment maker, PPE maker. This one had a big move going back to this time last year at the beginning of the pandemic. They reported aftermarket yesterday. You can see not so good. Downside 7% today. Just made a day low there on volume through 5 for OPK.
Definitely a good look there. I'm now going to be tracking this name. I see you guys talking about VCNX here. Big time, 187%. I mean, you can't ignore that. But volume right at the open, spiking it another 50%. I mean, I've stood in front of freight chains before, but this one does seem like at least a little bit dicey to be looking for a short. It has pulled back in 10% already, which usually is a bit of a decent sign for me. So I'm going to be on the radar. I just want to make sure I know exactly what's going on with the stock. I'm not aware of the news here. And then 850. it would normally be the consolidation top that I would be looking to short off of. For me, I'd rather just get back into more CTXR, which I'm going to do in front of this 195 again. So going to load back into that position. And if sundial breaks 130, I got 29.5 is my short price. I'm just going to get right out of it and then look for the next trade in that particular name. Just to come back over to Watt, no 5 break, but also didn't quite get to that. Didn't quite get to that 550 mark. I'm still going to take the 5 even break on WATT. Still, as far as I'm concerned, there is no hard news on this one, so it's a short until maybe it gets through like 6 or if something gets confirmed. Either way, it's just sort of attached to that Apple news and nothing really firm there. So might as well short the retracement until it stops. Oh, and sorry, Palantir, I put in the chat there, 2750 VWAP looks like it could be a bit of a bounce. I'll try a tight stop long in front of it, like somewhere in the mid 50s. I want to buy that dip.
Greg, check your note there if you can, my friend. Okay, CTXR back to the upside there. I know Neil's averaging in here. I'm pretty, or getting a new position. I'm getting out. I mean, I was getting most of that out there. We did take a nice 84. I'm not too strong or too deep into this one, so watch out for that coming through. CCL now, man, what a great trade this one's been. I say this was probably one of the better trades that I've had today, although not even close to the net that I have on Palantir, but CCL. I mean, look at this, man. Up 7% today and just ripping to the moon here. What a great trade that was. 2460, 2470, and still moving here, CCL. So big mover here to look for on that one. So we will wait to see where that's going right now. But CCL on the upside here, guys.
Yeah, and it's not a huge level, but like 200,000 shares on this CTXR. It's the first time I actually didn't say it incorrectly. I want to use no stop here. I mean, manually is the best way for me to usually get out of these trades because that level is my cover. I'm short here. 96 is my average price. Now, should it be 97 or 98? Yeah, probably. But either way, 96 is on this particular short. I would start getting out of it as a test back down. Remember that 85 price from before? That would be the target, and now that it's tested 2 even. But I'm not going to let 2 go, guys. Why? Because at that point, it might test towards high of the day, and it could be another short at 205. So save yourself that extra 5 pennies on that trade and look for another reentry. If it's wrong, but it actually might not be, could go right down to my target. Brendan?
Just checking on VaxNX here. VCNX, very, very small. Wow, $64 million market cap. 18 million on the free float for VCNX could explain the move. They signed a couple of distribution and marketing deals and also development deals for their drug development platform, software platform, guys. So VCNX up big time on that.
It's over $1. I'm just telling you guys.
No worries. I was gonna take over that dip in Palantir, and I tried to get that in as fast as I could because it was bouncing on VWAP at least a couple of times. Now it did break, and when I tried the dip buy in the morning, that's actually my hit on Palantir. Is it did actually break through, but I missed this pullback, so I didn't want to miss this other one here at 27.50. I just got some out in front of 75. If you've been following long enough, you probably shouldn't be too surprised there. And then this 28.10 double top here, guys. Look, I'll be flat if it gets to that price because I would just be still looking, I should say, to take a breakout trade through that high of day. So if it breaks 28.10, I'm probably going long anyways on a breakout. So might as well be out of that 27.50, trying to be active on Palantir here if we can. The volume's been, through the roof. I know it's 100 million shares, and other stocks have done 100 million, like Sundial at 240.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Palantir's a $30 stock, and Sundial's $1.25, guys. So Palantir much more impressive on a volume basis.
27.50. Yeah. So my Palantir work basically. Move this out. We just tweeted out. Follow us on Twitter if you want to get some of those plays. Like I mentioned all the time, guys. I'll put it in the chat. I guess Valeria can. I put the plays here, just like we said the other day. If I could find. Oh, there's the picture. If you guys didn't see that, this is us here yesterday. There's my kid with the NASA shirt here. We're watching that. Big success. We got home in time, so that was really special to me, anyways. But that's not what I was talking about. Follow us for some of these things here. Like we talked about doubling down on Palantir there at 25.09. That was a good one, guys. And then we talked about QS as well when we talked about buying it there again a couple days ago. So if you did want to look at that, you can see where QS is right now. And we're just going to go back into that, man. It did break. So it did break that 64.50. We'll take the dollar. So there it is, Lori. I see you watching. You like hot dogs. We all like hot dogs. There goes the hot dog trade there. QS. We could have taken 65.50 or so where VWAP was. No, we could not have. It only goes to 65.20 when we were in. So we could have taken about 70 cents more than we did, but we do get out in and out like a light there on that one. So that's been a good trade for us. Check back on NEO. I mean, it does go all the way up. I don't know why I didn't take this out. I was looking at other things. I think CCL there. It goes all the way to 55.93. That would have been a glaring out there. We should have taken it on NEO. Look at the futures coming to the downside. A good opportunity. I'm going to go back into NEO again. And then let's just wait on it. Let's not go too heavy. But 55 bottom should hold. I do like what it went to 55.90 there. Stupid me wasn't paying attention.
And I want to come back to this UAMIA, let's call it. It did dip down, and I got flat in front of 175. I talked to you about that being the target. It goes all the way into 165 before making a bit of a low. So look, it can be pie in the face and you leave some profit on the table, but it bounces in either way. There's been no halt since. I mean, it's halted multiple times this morning, but this pop up, which is like 25%, no halt. 250 was a halt, 245 was a halt price, and 250 was a top. If it gets there, I'd much prefer to be shorting post-halt in this trade, but I'll use that top and then short in front of it. Not with impunity, but certainly something using that 250 is going to be too easy target for me. It's an obvious place to go into it. It's not there yet, and if it looks like it's going to halt going into that, I would take the trade off or cancel my order. I don't like getting short or long any position just before a stock is likely to go into a halt, and then I have to hold through it. If you can avoid it, I say why not just go ahead and leave yourself out of those headaches. Even though sometimes halt trades win, that risk to reward isn't always the best, guys. So that CTRX, just to come back to it, it dipped into 2. I was actually able to get a great fill up at 99. So when I get these 98s and 99s, I have to start taking profit off in front of the 90, guys, just because that's a great, fantastic look. But it's now trying to bounce a little bit higher. So remember that 185. I still have orders here at 191 and then orders on the south side of 185. That's what I'm going to look to do here. I'm staying away from the middle end of this range. If it bounces off VWAP, forget about the short. We'll take the profit we have and run. But if it busts through, I want to have some exposure to just a deeper move. If it breaks 185, I think I'm getting 82s and 81s and then down to 76 and 78. So I'm kind of playing this in both regards, where tighter exits here so I can hold for a deeper move on the second half. It works out to about the same thing. I just think it might explode in one direction or the other. And if it's to the upside, I want to take in some profit shallow. If it's to the downside, I want as big of a position as I can, or at least another half of it if it goes down to that 175 mark. Brendan?
Big mover from 2 days ago, LODE. You remember just popping back up on volume here through to $6. Day number 1, we had $6 was, if I remember correctly, a big level for this thing. So heads up here. Volume coming in, guys, on LODE.
Yeah, load that one up there, Brendan. Thanks for that. We did take another VWAP trade here. As we talked about it on the show here, taking some NEO there a little bit at 55.57, so just right here. Average price now 66 as we go right back to 66. So let's wait to see. I'll take a little bit out here at 80 if we can get it. I'm going to put an order now so I don't forget like I did last time. If it does get back up to there, I do want to average into this name and then use 55 as a break. I mean, if it breaks, it breaks. I think the futures are going to have to head downside, obviously, for that to happen. I think it's holding up pretty good. I did want to look at XPEV because that was the next name that we had on our blast list today. 43.50 didn't really come through for us, so we didn't have to worry about that. So that's a play now, where if you're looking to pick up something at the bottom, not a horrible opportunity. I did get out for a nice little win as well on the last share or the last option I had on AMC, the $2 calls there for a decent win on that trade. Okay, 2,000 likes right now, not bad. 9,700 watching. Let's see if we can't get that going a little bit. We'll see if we get to 3K very, very soon, guys. That's all we're asking for. If you like some of those wins today, CCL Monster, Palantir. I mean, I'm still $1 in the money. The CTXR has been a big one. SNDL has been a big one as well. So, I mean, I have one loser on board today, and that's NEO, and I'm trying to change that. So, if you guys can, hey, just hit the like. That's all we ask. I would rather you guys, I mean, I want you guys to hit the like, but also hit the share. Let's see if we can't get this show blasting even farther. What the hell? Oh, I did buy more. Okay, so I did buy more Palantir through that 28.10. So let's see where this one wants to go now, as it is just blasting. I also got options on this one. We'll wait to check at the end of the day to see where those are right now, but 28.10 blasts a bit higher. We do take a little bit more risk. Not a maximum position, not anything close to that, but we do want to enjoy some upside if it goes.
Yeah, I just scalped them out when it did make that break. Anytime I make a breakout trade, it's like at least a third minimum on the first initial push. Wherever it stalls, I just quick hands try to get out as fast as I can. So I did take some out at 18. I'm going to hold the rest. I don't really know anything other than quarters and 50s at these particular prices until you get to, on Palantir, this 29 to 29.50 level. I mean, that's the real resistance, I think, if it continues its push. Brendan?
Just a fuel cell, guys. We were talking about this one a couple of days ago. Another one that's had 3 days in a row to the downside, trying kind of bounced today. Held 21 there on there, broke 21, then held on that last little break. 15% for F-Cell today, very strong.
And there goes that CTXR. So remember I was talking about getting more aggressive and taking some shares off in the 90s because I felt like it was going to make a test one way or the other. Yep, that's me getting out at 01 when 2 breaks. And it doesn't push to 205 just yet. Now, I'm not going to, just because it doesn't go right away, doesn't mean I'll slide right back into the short position. I do want to see what happens if this tests the high. If I can get like 5s or 6s off this 207 top, I would definitely be looking at that trade for the next short. Otherwise, it does feel like you can use that 185, 190 area for a bit of a bounce play or a hard reversal if it does hold the high here. And then I don't love 207 as a breakout play. Sort of those random prices have never treated me well. Like 210 would be a little bit more clean. Like let people get stopped out at the high and then see some continuation before I would get into that long. Palantir, still holding on to some of that. I actually got 13s on that 210 break. It is what it is. It looks like it hit that second target, or did it? Yeah, it did hit that second target, 25s. Like I said, if this pushes to 50s, you can probably just keep getting in and out, buying dips and then buying breaks on PLTR. The volume is tremendous.
Yeah, the volume's tremendous. Number 1 stock here, I think, on the board today for Palantir. And so, yeah, it just keeps on going. We are now long at 12s. So I guess when that broke that 10 level, we got 12s, which is pretty good. So we're going to wait to see, or no, I think we got 13s. Oh, it's still an average price from these bottoms, like bang, bang, bang. Like, there you go, man. Put your money where your mouth is what I'm doing here on Palantir. So up to the upside right now. Pretty happy with the way that's moving around Palantir. So we'll keep talking about that. I do want to look at NEO. I said I'd put an order upside, and I didn't actually there, so that's my mistake. But we have to wait. I was going to wait for 80s anyways. So for NEO, upside here of 80, looking pretty nice for me. We are long at 66 already. We're going to turn this, my one negative stock, we're going to turn that around hopefully and put it positive here. If we could get up to, I mean, I just get out now and I'll be positive. Well, if it goes above 66. But we are waiting for this 55.80 on NEO. I'd like a little bottom here. If we can get more, I will average in to this little spot. This is a cluster down here. But then if it breaks 55, we got to get out. I don't know if we retest yesterday's close bottom of 54.30. That could come into play. But right now I'm liking some NEO. I did take CTXR. We did short there at 2s. So let's wait to see where this one wants to go now to the downside. And then just a quick recap on CCL. Probably, again, like I said, probably the cleanest trade that I have today. Easy. I mean, most of my trades are 1 in, 1 out, or 1 in, multiple outs. But this CCL was a big trade there. Decent amount of shares on that break. It got going, and we hammered that one to the upside. Just getting the rest out now. Have that patented 5% now left.
Yeah, and just coming back to go over some of these other sort of crazier names that have been going. That VCNX, I should say, it looks like that 850 has held. It's looking like it wants to break down below this consolidation level, like 730. So that's going to be like a sort of a key level. If it breaks through and can hold, any kind of an offer in and around like 750, I think it might turn into one of those retracement shorts. And the next long might be your power hour type of play. For now, 850 looks like that support. I actually should make sure that I have some locates on this one to go short if it tests 850 again. But that will be the line in the sand for me. Now that it's come back in and holding lower, I kind of like this trade. It's trying to bounce off VWAP, so the first test, of course, will be that 850 level. I would take 1 shot shorting in front of it, but a breakdown at 7 would show a heck of a lot more weakness on VCNX.
So our CCL looks like a pretty good out there on that name. We're going to check out on QS. What a great out that was on QS there. We did not get back in. I mean, look at the futures coming to the downside right now. So not loving what's happening here in the market. So we have to definitely protect some of these longs, man. I'm not worried about Palantir against the market. That's not the point. I'm more worried about NEO against the market right now. I do have some more bids on the downside to get long in the 40s. Maybe the 50s is the right play there. It did dip down to 47. So maybe we'll take a little bit more here, but I still like this play to go into the upside now. That's NEO. That's really the one I'm looking at. I'm not worried about Palantir. And then CCL is still moonshotting. If there's anything else you guys want, FRX.
Yeah, Sean, I just want to quickly show level 2 because that sundial, remember 129.5 here. This level is looking like it's going to break at 130. So I'm going to get out of this trade manually here. It's risking basically half a cent, and I did get half of this position out to the short side when it worked, but I'm not going to look that gift horse in the mouth. I don't want it to break on me and then I'm paying an extra cent or so. It's starting to really coil up, and if it coils and then bounces to the upside, I don't want to be caught in that short and risk an extra 4 or 5 pennies. So if it comes back down, that's great. I can find another short. For now, let's jump to Brendan at the big screen. I think it's our small cap recap.
Hey guys, yeah, lots of opportunity in small cap world. Let's have a look at a few. We were talking about JMP right before the open at 9:30. I mentioned a couple of things here. 1075 was kind of an area I was eyeing there, hoping for more of a push up into this at the open. No such luck. This thing was so weak right from the word go this morning. This is 9, so my average was about 1020 up there. This area was 9. I mentioned both of these spots from yesterday aftermarket. We're now at 7, so I mean, it gave you all kinds of opportunity above 10. It's now at 750 and change for JMP. Yeah, Watt, pretty easy one this morning. High a day, 650. We're now at 5. So, I mean, use the high a day and see what happens after that. So, very, very tight risk on WATTT. UAVS, wanted to mention this. We discussed this in the pre-market. 1150 was the top. It tried to get above that and failed. Give you a quick opportunity there. We're trying to hold below 11 now. If this thing can hold below 11, trade below and not get above, it might give you another push to the downside for UAVS. Guys.
Okay, so I mean, like I said, man, I got to get back. I mean, you guys normally know me to trade the big hitters, but the CTXR, man, like when it looks like this and it really just pans out. I mean, these stocks actually look easier to trade than some of those big names because there's volume, right? So you get like-minded people trying to make the same trades as you. So there's that 202 short for once again another big win on that name. And oh yeah, by the way, we talked about NEO going to the upside, and did I just get filled there? Yes, I did. NEO. We go from no negative, one negative stock to 0 negative stocks now today. Let's just keep going to the high side with NEO now, ripping people's faces off. Oh yeah, and you want to talk about ripping people's faces off? Let's just continue with the cash cow, man. There is Palantir. Hey, what's up, cash cow? Coming to the upside now as we just keep on hitting that up, and away. Super excited to check the broker statements after this. So let's just keep going to the upside now with Palantir, 28.40, 28 and change. We bought yesterday, man. Like I said, it's called putting your money where your mouth is. We talked about that. I gave that trade to you. I bought that yesterday at the close, and I hope you did too. There it goes. NEO, 25 cents in the money as well.
Yeah, and I'm glad I didn't use a stop order, a certain type of stop order in Palantir here, because that might have actually triggered here on this little dark pool print. It's going up. It didn't actually give you a chance to get into 27 5 minutes ago. It is still pushing towards that 28.50. Hanging on. We took the quarters out. If I see a big enough level, I would probably just get out and then look for another breakout trade, but there really isn't a heck of a lot. And look, Palantir, that's actually not that bad of a level, 80,000 shares, maybe 100,000 total. It's probably going to chew through that with no trouble, guys. Either way, I'm likely to add on a bit of a break just to see if I can get another scalp trade, but I will hang on to the ones we have. So we'll see if a 28.50 break can get me like 55 to 60s and use some size on that level. But just pull back. This is why we like these. I like the levels even better. And apologies for that, Wick. If it does sort of dip back a couple of times before breaking out through, that means some shorters are feeling pretty good about that 28.50, making the break even better. Brendan?
This one was very active yesterday. I just want to remember the name. Quantum C. Kappa is what I'm talking about. CAPA. The SPAC from yesterday, you remember a huge move up to 25 yesterday, just popping back up here on a volume scanner through 22. Needs a little bit more volume to come in, I fear, but taking, this Quantum C, which is a semiconductor company public through a merger, guys.
Not Quantum Scape, I see. Quantum C. Okay, so we will look at that Kappa, good name there from yesterday. And sometimes you get those 2-day rallies and those 2-day moves. My eyes are looking everywhere. Oh, Riot, damn it. Didn't trust myself on that one. We put our money where our mouth is on Palantir. But Riot breaks that 72, it rips all the way. I mean, it broke it early, man. This was the break you really wanted when I talked about 72. Goes all the way to 73.50. I talked about 72 in the pre-market. Those of you that had that say hell yeah on the chat. Hopefully you got a nice little win there for that trade. Okay, just check back here on CCL. I'm getting a headache. I don't know if these lights are brighter than normal today, but we'll drink some more water. Shout out to Shakib there with the waterman, and that's what we're talking about here. It's Hydration Nation time. Oh, it's probably because I have this sweater on, a little bit hot as well today. But right now, man, we're just hot fire trading. CCL, 50 cents. I mean, I only have 4 positions. CTXR. 8 cents in the money, 9 cents in the money, you take the bid. This name, NIO, hi-ho, 55, 40 cents in the money on NIO. And then Palantir, dollars in the money, it doesn't really matter. My current position right now, 28.12. It just gives you the last fill that I have. So 28.12 to the upside. We just took some out right here at 42.43. We're always playing off these 50 levels. I joked about, no, I didn't joke about it. I mean, I was serious when I said we could see 29 today on Palantir. Guys, let me know if you're following these calls, man. I'm pretty happy with what's been happening today, guys. But a big day, needless to say. There goes Palantir, and there goes Brendan.
Well, this one's been asleep for a couple of months here, going back to December, I guess was the last time we really talked about this one. But Cation Auto, KXIN, not an EV name, but typically moves when the Chinese EV makers are moving. So just popping up here, you can see on a big volume spike for KXIN.
And a couple of things there. I just got out in front of that 28.50. If it breaks, I'm still going to go long in that Palantir on a breakout, another breakout style trade, which the breakouts have been fantastic. The dip buys are working as well. I mentioned the reason to get out of that sundial, that 130 trade. Each one of these shorts started working like less and less. Of course, initial 135 was great. The last breakout at the bottom, 124, kind of stunk. Had to get up most of it flat. And then there was a nice trade off for 130 that you can only get a few cents off of. If it comes back and it looks like we're about to head back to this 135 mark, I would still try the short through there. I have no problems doing that. But it'll be the same sort of thing that we did here at 130, where it's like risk like a half penny to 1 cent. If it comes back down, maybe like 5-10 cents is going to be that winning trade. It's trying to march back to the upside. And the reason I sort of urge a bit of that caution is, remember, sort of always watch out what's going on in Tilray. And I did say if we broke that sort of 28.50, testing towards those highs, you'd see me dip out of the sundial trade, which is exactly what happened. Now, Tilray could reverse off high of the day, and if that happens and we're still below that 135 on sundial, yeah, that's more reason to like that trade. I like having more than one reason or for some conviction in one of these little day trade scalp trades. That would give it to me as long as we're not taking out that Tilray high of the day. CTXR, it's been the sort of rinse and repeat. I would have loved it if we could have tested towards 207. It never gave you that. I said if it breaks 2, look to see where it tops out. If I get 05s, great. It never gives it to you. It just comes right back down, so I jump back into that trade. On a failed break, jump back into the short. Out in front of VWAP because, what did I say before? It might bounce off VWAP this time, so 185 would be a key level if it can break through. Otherwise, I'll be covering these shorts at VWAP every single time. You can be playing the reverse, going long into those levels, and it's the same trade in reverse. I just like the short end of this trade, so that's what I'm doing, Brennan.
I mentioned this one earlier, had to kind of stick with it a little bit. We saw it break through 9 there right at the open, coming back in for CBAT is what I'm talking about. But look at the move since then. Nice hold of 860, 870, and then off to the races. They announced this new ultra low temperature application battery in the pre-market, guys. That was the news at 9 a.m.
Yeah, I know we talked about CTXR, but the thing is, man, every day I'm learning something more. And I just talked about this. Like, why deal with some of these bigger stocks? I mean, sure, we're crushing them, like Palantir, wow, moving up to the upside. When you could deal with these stocks, no wonder this is the #1 symbol here at Day Trade the World today. It's been pretty simple, pretty easy to follow right now, CTXR. So, I mean, look at that. Like, we've only gone in twice, basically. That was building a position there. I was just hitting the offer and out, beautifully out there below VWAP, so good. And then that break upside of $2 was so good. Now back to 191, and we're still holding that one. So yeah, good on that. But then I say that, and then I go over to Palantir, and we're feeling like Superman today on Palantir as it's just ripping to the high side now, 28.40, 28.50 now. I don't know about these 50 levels, but yeah. And I just checked the options nicely in the money as well on this play. So look, if this is a Wall Street Bets name, hey man, Wall Street bet it up because let's just keep on going long. We're already got our money in this name. So as this one keeps on marching, we're multi-happy, mucho happy with that EHang upside as well. Check back on QS quickly if we can. 62.40, trying to hold that bottom. I like this bottom hold there. What are the futures doing? Okay, we get a little bit of futures break. Maybe we can do something here. Let's see if QS wants to hold $60 now.
Yeah, and that 50 sort of coming up right here on Palantir, but that VCNX looking like the 7 break could come into play, so I've got that locked and loaded, ready to go. I would have loved if it tested back to 850, but, you know, beggars can't be choosers. It has to go to that price to get me my entry point, or at least close enough to it that I can use it as resistance and a cover for an out. So it's one or the other on VCNX. To come back to this UAMY here, it never tested that 250 high. It would have been great if it had, of course. I like that trade. If it gets back below that $2 range, I'd probably be looking at the same type of short, like that 95 to 2 even, and then work it back down to 175. It's still doing good volume at 30 million. It did have those halts, multiple halts earlier on in the session. Since then, it has really calmed down, so it can lend itself to a little more active trading. It's been one and done for me for the time being. Brendo?
All right, guys, 10:30. That means we are about 45 minutes away from J.R. Ron, CEO, board director, and co-founder of MindMed. So it's been a very exciting stock over the past few weeks and months, to say the least. We're going to talk to him about why brand new acquisition announced this week for MindMed. So more exciting news and times for that company. We'll talk to JR coming up at 11:15. It's 10:30 right now. That means there's an hour left in the session over in Europe. Let's check in with Valeria.
Hey Brandon, European markets are back to the positive territory. Earnings remain in focus. Renault trading in Paris is down more than 4% after posting a record annual loss of 8 billion euros in 2020. Back to you.
Yeah, an exciting one on both sides of the pond this morning, guys, with more earnings to come even next week, although we are getting to the end of the bigger names, guys.
Boo. We talked about wanting some, nice. Just checking out those options right now, good ones. I have actually $40 calls, so we'll see if that goes through. On Palantir, Rocket. Bye-bye, Palantir. Rocket now, let's just see 2030. Look, man, this is another name that I'm loving right now, is Rocket. I talked about that with Mark Roberts, and I haven't been too wrong on some of these names. I am long. I mean, we'll talk about this. I'm long 2150 or so off of some of this 50-period moving averages. Obviously, it's come down as this one comes down. We'll see if it breaks. If not, then I think it's pretty solid play here with Rocket trying to go to the upside. And by the way, check out QS, man. Let's get the daily charts. You guys, the minute charts. You guys can see 62.50. We tried that. We're waiting here at 28. There we go. Did we get filled? Yes, we did. Another one, man. DJ Khaled back in the building here with another one. Big time move up. Look at this. Bang, 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 bang. This is what we're doing right now. And it's been a wheelbarrow.
Guys, Tilray just bounced off of the high of the day, 29.20. It just reversed. Same time, Sundial reversed off 135. So I grabbed the 134 short. As long as Tilray's pulling back, I like this 135 and out. And Palantir broke 29.50. I know, Sean, you're in it. The breakout trade worked like gangbusters. It's easy. You get that 25.50 break. We're able to get 51. And now we're working this one towards that 75. But Tilray, hard reversal off the high of the day, which was what I was looking for, guys.
Yep, good call. We're short Sundial as well. But yeah, QS, guys, big mover, man. Palantir, big mover. And then, CTXR, another one. I don't even know what buttons to hit anymore. We're just doing too much. Let's just go DAPS because right now, today, man, this is the kind of day and the kind of love that we're feeling, man. It's just been such a big day. No losers on. We can review them all. CCL, the proof is in the pudding on this one. You can see right there on the chart. Where's the loser on this? Bang, right to the downside. Big trade right there. NEO, okay, NEO. This is the one that's hovering around. I thought I was trying to get more long. I am, so we're still on the bid for that. So this one could be a loser at some point. Palantir, NEPA. We don't talk about losers when we talk about Palantir. We make back what we lost yesterday on that stock. Thank you so much. QS, there's another. I'm just reviewing my trades, guys. These are all the names I've traded today. 139 fills. Find one if I'm wrong here. And then Sundial, we go short 34 right now. We'll look to see if we get out at 30. But yeah, the party continues, man, for me on these names. And it's been a monster day. So great to have this as a Friday. I'm bringing home the wine, baby. Let's go.
So it was National Wine Day yesterday. I enjoyed a glass or two with dinner. But Palantir, guys, always going to scalp any kind of a breakout trade. So I'm going to hang on personally here to like 10% of the position. First out is wherever the first stall was, which is at 60s. And then second out in front of 75. Rinse and repeat, 28 even would be a level. VCNX broke that 7. I got 95, so a bit of slippage there. First target, I got 20% out there on the first little stall. If it comes back above like 10s, I'd probably just cover that one. In terms of buying the dip on Palantir, I'm going to stay away from it. I mean, VWAP was good. 28 would make sense, but we're sort of far away from some of those prices from earlier, so I wouldn't chase it too far on that particular name. And I know we're talking a little bit about that blockchain there. I'm not sure if you're in any of these names, Sean, but Riot, and as I look at spot price here, essentially breaking through highs. Riot is right at that high of day at 74 and looking for a potential breakout there. As spot is currently at its high of day, so watch out for Riot trying to take out the top.
Guys, okay, so one thing I like, and Rob, you like making graphics, get ready. I want to see, do you guys want to make this something? Anybody that rolls with me on some of the trades, we'll call it this. I love this Rolling Records Drip Squad. So is that a thing? Do you guys want to start that? We can start some Drip Squad stuff. I'll tweet about it and whatnot. Let me know. I'll see if we can do that, guys, what we're talking about. Your wife will love that. You rock as a husband. Oh, I thank you, Lori. I hope the wife is watching that because she's got a couple of these on her hands, and hopefully she's liking that. But yeah, my best friend is my wife, and I think that if you do have that combination, you're doing pretty damn good. So I love you, and let's just keep going. What's up to Lori? I know you're a big fan of the show as well. But you want to talk about being a fan of something. I just, again, not talking about Palantir too much today. It's just the fact that this has been a big time mover, 122 million shares. I nailed this one right off the bottom. Like, how much did we nail this yesterday, guys? Like, if you can't see that this 25 is holding, then honestly, man, we need to do some work, because that was a good hold down there at 25. So watch out. That was a big one. We went long down here. We got options. We got everything. So yeah, drip squad, guys. Let's see if we like that one. Yeah, if you guys like that, we'll do it. And people are liking that drip squad. So let's. It's already taken apparently. So let's find out here. Someone said it already got taken there. So don't get sued. Yeah, not worried about that, my friend. But we'll wait on that one. So we'll see. How am I managing so many trades at once, let alone so many winning trades? Great question, man. I don't know. I just watch all this, and then we're going out, back upside. Let's just keep going. Like, how do I manage QS? It's easy when you got these winners on, guys. QS right now, $1 in the money, and yeah, we did it again. We're walking on water. This is a good one for MindMed today. What's up, JR Ron? I'm also a MindMed shareholder. Upside QS. Bang! There's another $1.50 win on that one, man. The Wiz is here. The Wiz is here. Big time wins happening all over the place. Was that Brendo?
Indeed. Another earnings name, guys. Rackspace reported after market yesterday. Not a heck of a lot of volume, but like how this chart looks. Very, very tight consolidation right at 22. Looking like it might need to resolve itself either direction. Down big time, though, after earnings, guys.
Yeah, I mean, the way to manage multiple trades is have a plan of action, guys. So I'm just going to show you spot BTC, Bitcoin. They're making a push to the high of the day. As that was happening, I mentioned to you guys Riot trying to break through the high. Look, it's going to be a simple momentum play. It breaks that high at 73.80. I get 91s to the long side there, and it's just quick scalping in and out. It's a high percentage. You quickly get like 50 cents. Now, if it was not running into $75 here, I probably would consider holding on to some. But every time I've tried to make Riot trades more than like a quick in and out style trade, it's never been the best. You have to be watching spot price pretty quickly here, because if there's a pullback, this might pull back faster than spot does. Now, that's the one concern you have. Of course, you can always just trade directly, which for a lot of people, that's going to be the easiest way to go about it. But there's other trades that can be had. When these moves lag each other, you can take advantage of them. That was an opportunity to get that break on Riot. In and out very, very quickly. They're not too difficult to sort of flex the muscle on that trade. Now, VCNX, reminder, I did get that 7 break. It did immediately stall at 90, so I did get some out there as a shallow win. But now that it's consolidating lower, I told you guys 710 I'd probably only give it to. If it breaks and consolidates literally 10, 15 cents lower than the breakout, I'm going to give it a very, very tight stop and not to VWAP in that particular case. If it comes back down, this opening range bottom here, 580 to 6 even, that would be the ultimate target for me. I still have that sundial position. I tried to yell it out to you guys as fast as I could that Tilray was making a double top and sundial was at that 135 key price. Why is it key on sundial? Let's go to the daily chart for you guys. On the way up, look at the multi-day high at 135 before breaking out. Previous resistance turns into support turns into resistance, or resistance again turns back into resistance. A couple of times short earlier of the day there. When Tilray turns, I short that one at 134, back into VWAP. So that's the plan of action. And I'm basically sticking to this. It was similar to yesterday's action where I can have 5 or 6 trades off the same levels or same setup over and over and over again.
Man, why didn't I know that SNDL and it was this easy? Like, that's unbelievable, guys. I got to be on this more. Big shout out to DTTW for letting me know that this was the #1 stock and that I got to be trading this more. And I did want to give a big shout out. A lot of love on the chat, guys. The chat's going too fast. I can't holler to everybody, but again, thank you so much for all of that love there. It means a lot to us as we keep on going. Palantir to the high side. We still have that one. Oh yeah, and by the way, look at this QS. I mean, you get patient and then bang, 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 and try to get this out. We'll see if we get to VWAP. But once again, another big winner. We're at our highest spot of the day 3 times daily right now and still moving, right? So we'll wait to see how far this one wants to go up. Oh, check back on the CTXR like a glove. Hit that one as well. So, yeah, chicken dinner winners on CTXR today. And again, there it is. It doesn't get any easier than that. A 202 short off that break of 2. It resists the move up, bang, to the downside. So that was a good trade as well. And then Sundial, I took a little bit off there at 32. We will wait to see if it breaks through 30 now.
Watch
So
Tilray, because that's actually making another test at the top there. I feel like if that goes, why not get out of Sundial when you know you're going to get back into it? You have the opportunity to do so. I just feel like if this double top breaks, you're likely to get at least a little bit of a squeeze here. And here comes 30, by the way, on Palantir. We don't talk about the market enough. We stick to the stocks that are moving. Why? Because that's where the money is, of course. But let's go to Sector Watch and Brendan. I see a lot of green on that screen. I'm interested to see what's leading the way.
Yeah, almost the exact opposite board of what we saw about this time yesterday. Nicely positive right across the board, 0.35% overall for the market. Again, about the same as what we saw yesterday. Just the reverse situation. Let's start right here. Industrial stocks among the leaders to the upside today. Here's all the airlines leading the way for the transportation group in positive territory. Really the commercial, professional, and services group, the only one in the industrial sector that is to the downside. There's Deere, 10.3% after earnings this morning in the pre-market. Boeing, 2.25% to the upside here, just to pull out a couple that are very, very strong from the capital goods group. Tech stocks also very, very strong. There's AMAT. Somebody pointed that out in the pre-market. 7.5% now for AMAT. ENPH, ADI, MCHP, again, just to name a few in the semi group. The strongest in the tech sector on this side of the board. Energy stocks, material stocks, both very, very strong once again today. We did see a bit of a dip yesterday at the end of the day and then this morning in the pre-market for oil prices, but overall the stock's still strong. Healthcare stocks also helping to offset an otherwise very positive showing for a Friday. 0.35%, guys, for the market. Back to you.
All right, yeah, back to us and back to making some cash, I guess, there. We did take some out at 31 there on SNDL, so we're going to wait for that one. CXTR does come back down, man. We got some out right there at VWAP. Now we'll hold the rest for the downside move there. QS does hit that 64 mark. Probably should have looked at that. Now I'm looking at this, 63. We break 63. We will get out of QS. Otherwise, I'm going to hold this for the, hopefully, I don't want to get out again. So if it breaks 63, we'll get out. And again, I saw you on there, Karen. You're right. I mean, we can't make tons of money if we keep getting out all the time. But that's not my style. I don't mind just sort of layering on, right? I have 150 trades today. It's about knowing your style and what you do best, right? I mean, you want to talk about something, knowing your style. I mean, check out this trade here on NEO, right? We talked about having a negative stock on the day. Guess what? NEO flies in and crashes that party because now we don't have a negative stock on the day. Like, look at that buy down there. And I told you guys that we had bids in the 40s, right? And that's actually 41 or 40 even. What am I long at on NEO right now? Let me check the board here. 40s. So in 40s, out 55s on that, out again up here, and then out again up here. So now we hold very, very small. And there's just another win. Like, I take these trades and Neil hit the hammer on the head, like, or a nail on the head with the hammer. How do you manage? It's easy when there's a lot of winners on board. Look, it is what it is today. We go perfect. But it's also about having a plan. I put in my orders where to get out, even when I'm just getting into the trade, right? So there's a lot of sort of order management, and maybe that comes with all those years' experience, 19 of them, in fact. As my kids keep telling me, Daddy, you're getting gray.
You don't have any gray hair. I'm the one with the gray. Look. I joke at it, but guys, 29 on Palantir is here right now. It's probably the most significant level in terms of size that I've seen, but it just goes right up there. You guys saw almost live there. It was like, I thought I saw like 500,000 shares. Maybe it was maybe I was wrong about that, but then immediately either pulled or dug into a little bit, because I have prints that went on the dark pools as high as 02, so it looks like it just chewed through that one. If it's going to go, there it is, like 40,000 shares in that little bit. It might just chew through this, guys, but it's the first significant seller that I've seen on the way up, and then there you go. It's immediately gone. It hasn't broken, from my estimation, what I've seen here. Dark pool prints at 03, that's why it shows as a high, but no clean break, so I'm not going to take that breakout trade till it's actually on the bid.
Oh man, yeah, I just laughed here at Palantir because this has just been a fantastic run, and I did want to give it, look, I mean, this is why I do this, man. This is why I think social media is so important. This is why I think you guys got to watch the show. And this is why I think, at least what I bring to the show is giving you guys these plays, right, that you guys can do from day one. So thank you so much, Simone, there for that 20 euros or British pounds there. And then thank you so much for Adrian as well. You made $15,000 on PLTR since yesterday's bottom at 25. Thank you, Sean. You are 100% welcome for that. And again, that's just what I'm trying to do. It's not just give you guys calls and trade throughout the day. And now I think it's going to be good news. Now I'm going to be on some of these small cap names as well to hopefully add those to some of your portfolios. But right now, really happy with the way this has gone. Thank you so much for those super chats. We'll buy Valeria a nice coffee here at Starbucks if there's any still open, right, Valeria? You told me they're all closed. What's up, Brandon?
Not sure if this is a little bit of leftover activity from yesterday, maybe with the Mars landing, but space popping up here today, guys. Nice volume coming in as well through 52 here. We did mention yesterday in the pre-market they announced the second window for their test flight is open essentially right now. They said from Thursday to Sunday. So any moment they could run that final test flight. So space having another good day.
We've sort of seen this in the past. It doesn't even have to be related in terms of successes or failures in either direction. Like if you have a failed launch if SpaceX has a bad one, Virgin Galactic could go down, not directly related. You have, of course, I thought was interesting to watch or fun to watch, successful landing on Mars. And then Virgin Galactic already had good news. Now they're pushing it. It's still at that exact double from that 25 to 27.50 breakout. So I don't know how far this will extend. Sorry, Palantir just broke that 29. This is not nearly as strong of a push through on Palantir as it was the last time. I'm actually going to get out of it. It's only like 2 or 3 cents, but and apologies because I was on level 2 of space, but had to manage that trade. It looked entirely different on that break on Palantir. And if you're doing breakout trades, understand that's different from like buying the dip and holding, then looking, you give it a few extra pennies in that one, you're going to hold a little bit longer. If I'm taking just a clean 29 break, if the first thing that happens is I get 01 halves, and then it pops up to like 03, 04, 05, 06, 07, and there's no bid that follows it, just evaporation of the offer, and no one actually buying with those prices, I'm out. That's why I yelled to you guys, looks different. I'm getting out as fast as I could. It doesn't mean it's going to stop going up, but it does mean that little quick, long 01s, 02s, get out 10s and 25s within a matter of seconds or sometimes minutes is not going to be in the cards for my estimation. I could have been wrong about that. It turns out that at least in terms of the short trader, very, very quick, it did pull right back into 90. So if you're willing to hold a pullback, 15 or 20 cents in that particular case, fine, you still got it on. For me, I'd rather just get out for like a 2 or 3 cent loss. Plenty of successful opportunities in Palantir, and it's done so much volume. And this is the key. You don't usually get a stock that's going to give you this kind of opportunity, both in terms of gross and multiple entries, that's doing this much volume. So a $30 stock doing 130 million is incredibly impressive. And think about it from this standpoint, right? The amount of buying that's going through notionally at these particular highs is doubly impressive here for Palantir, guys. So that's why we can get in and out. There's no hesitation to get back in. Of course, if you are not trading with either very, very cheap entry points, cheap commissions, zero commissions, or like us with direct market access to day trade the world, some of that might not be available to you, and you're more looking at these buy the dip type of opportunities and then hold them through as opposed to these breakout trades.
There it is, guys. Bitcoin, I just tweeted it out. It hits 1 trillion market cap there. So 1 trillion market cap. And the name that I like, I mean, I like them all. I'm in on Bitcoin, and my largest, if I can get that out, position is on Ether. So ETH is my largest one, but don't sleep on Cardano number 3 there. This is actually Ethereum 2.0, so you guys can check that out. I mean, Ethereum is Ethereum 2.0, but they also build smart contracts on ADA. Tilray right now, I like this 29.20 break on the top side. If you're looking at that one, we're still holding our Palantir, man. 29.15. Let's just send that money through the wash today because, we're hella huge on Palantir. Brendan's got money talks, and I guess he's going to talk about Bitcoin. It would be my guess.
Very strong. Once again, let's give you a live look here and an update on the new all-time high, which is 53,840 for Bitcoin. 53,840. Give it a minute or two, it'll probably be higher. The rest of these nicely higher so far today as well. A little bit of US dollar weakness coming back into play to end off the week. We were seeing Canadian dollar back to 79.25. That's near a 2.5-year high for the CAD. The euro as well, 0.3% higher on the day. Same story with the British pound, 0.3% back above 140. You can see for the euro. A bit choppy south of here outside of Australia and New Zealand. Full percent for both Australia and New Zealand back to the upside. If you are looking for, there's Ethereum, the only one today, Sean, in negative territory, 0.6% on the day so far. Ripple about 2% higher. But did we get another one? No, it's still 53,840, guys. All-time highs for Bitcoin.
Okay, 53,840. Yeah, so there goes Tilray. Right. We'll see what's going to happen now. So Weed Batman is finally in the building today. Although we have traded SNDL, but that's just more like crack. You just trade that one and play those levels. But we'll try to trade real right now. Wow, DraftKings. Look, I'm more invested in DraftKings than I am in Palantir right now. No, well, that's probably not true considering the options. But DraftKings, a nice little move upside. Here goes Tilray, guys. We have this one and just another one. We gave you this break at 20. For some reason, I got 24s, but a nice little 10-cent win. We swish it off right there again. It seems like everything we're touching is going to gold here, guys.
Yeah, and watch out because, of course, this Tilray breaks the top. Still in the money on Sundial, but I'm going to take the rest of my position off. I already have, I was already getting out at VWAP. We talked about this before, but I will now get out at break even when we take these 34s. As long as we're pushing a high of the day, I want no part of it. I saw that super chat there, and I'll sort of go over that. I know I talked about it a little bit quick, but always identify, and you should always do this. We talked about managing, how do you manage trades? Know the style of trade that you're putting on before. Are you making a trade where you're going to give it like 20, 30 cents to make $1, or are you getting in and want to be in and out in a matter of seconds? If it doesn't go right away, you want out of it. And a breakout trade for me at the high of the day on a stock that's already gone 10%, that's going to be the latter. So ultimately, it did pull back in. You're going to see Palantir continue to run, but when it broke 29, to the upside, it went to 29.07. I got long 01s, 02s. The offer pulled back, so there was no offer until that 07, 08. Very, very quickly, there were no bids that were sort of following it on the way up, so that showed a little bit of weakness to me. The second I saw that, and when it ticked back below 29, I just get out, lose only a couple of cents. Usually that's a sign of a potential pullback. Were it not a Palantir, I'd be thinking about shorting it. If it was like a small cap stock, when that same thing happens, I usually jump into a short position. So that's what I was looking for. The spread opens up. The bid does not follow the offer, and usually see a 1 or 2 cent spread. It opens up without the bid following in. That's what I look for, and that's what I saw. Let's go to Brendan. What's up, bud?
We saw the initial move on UAL very, very early on this morning following this little note. They announced a new nonstop service between Boston's Logan and London's Heathrow airports to start very, very soon. Then this followed 6,000 airport screening positions to be filled, jobs to come in the airports, guys, heading into the summer. Look at this move today from UAL, almost 7%, just straight to the upside, $45.40 up to $48 now for UAL.
Yeah, you brought us that name. I'm not in love with some of these airlines yet, although for some reason, not for some reason, I know why, we just took out CCL today. That was a good trade for you. Still holding some of that one. NEO comes all the way back. So, okay. Don't have any more bids. Maybe we should get long again. I'm waiting now in the 20s for this. Nice little cleanup right there. We still have a small piece of that, but that's not in the money right now at all. Tilray, nice little victory for us on that one. This kind of looks like one of those lunch money trades where you just get in and get out. We'll see what it does at $29.50, but I do like that Tilray play. We did get out of QS once it does break 63 there. So we take another 50 cents there and add that just to the kitty today as that just keeps on going to the upside. CTXR, beautiful trade here. We're still holding that. I'm probably just going to get out right now. 85, or yeah, maybe 86 if we can, as the bid much stronger than the, there it goes, just printed. 85, 6 is bidder than the 87, so that might be something there. And we keep on talking about Palantir, but you already know where your boy's long. We got so excited as soon as this is not as soon as I sat down, but as soon as that 27 broke, guys, we busted that to the upside. And then someone asked, just follow me on Twitter if you want some plays, guys. I tweet them out. on here. I think maybe Brendan might tweet out some of his plays as well. But where did I talk about it? It was this morning. Oh, right here. Good morning, traders. Laid out the 3-day plan on Palantir that we discussed buying it Thursday up 7% this morning. We talked about buying it yesterday afternoon. So there you go, Palantir now, not just up 7%. Hey man, I'll take 17% in one day. And if you like some of those plays, QS, also we're long at 50 on a very similar talk. I see you over there in the green, Valeria, and thanks for wearing that because it's been a mighty green day.
Hey guys, another name for you from the chat. Gevo stock is a positive mover right now. Do you consider trading it today, and do you see any opportunities in it?
Thank you very much. They got an upgrade from Wainwright. Apologies, my daily chart, not necessarily loading here, but that's okay. I can show you guys a 15-minute, which is going to tell you the story that you're going to need. Gevo has been in a downward trend. They catch an upgrade when it's made a bit of a bottom at $10 here. And then you get this gap. And this is going to be similar, at least in structure, to what you saw in Palantir, where you get this, it is sort of an obvious level at 13, if only because you have this bottom at 13 on the way down, then turns into a bit of resistance on the first sort of real down day. And then on this little push up, it's resisting that price level. So it's set up rather nicely for a bit of a retracement and profit taking off of that level. And this is one of those things where if it's on the radar early, you're sort of already looking at that 13. And then you have some confidence maybe shorting into that sort of 1285 area. The positive for it, if you're looking for a bullish tint here, for the breakout at 13 or maybe even through that 1285 high, the fact that it's holding this particular level in front of VWAP at 1235 is a sign of strength. I'd be shorting this name if it gets back below like a 1220 area and then thinking about a breakout at 13 in the afternoon, sort of like a power hour type of play. But that's the big level. Go to the higher time frame, check that out. It does seem like it's made a bit of a temp bottom at 10 even. So if it holds here, look for that power hour push through 13 even.
All right, just watching this sundial here. We reversed it to the long now, but it's not doing anything. It breaks through that 138. But the other thing here is, who cares about sundial? Well, I do. I'm in it, so we care about it. But nice. That's the Tilray daily. We don't, oh no, it's the 1 minute. Where's my, oh, it's because it's not over here. There's where we went long on Tilray right there, 29.23. We talked about that taking out the top of that play, and we saw the momentum into some of these weed space names. So there it goes, a nice little 50 cents now in the money for us. But like Karen said, we only have, now we've got out 4 times, we have 20% left of our Tilray. It would have been nice to hold the rest, but I can't keep saying that and not do it, right? So that's the play, that's how I trade. So really happy with that. Tilray to the moon right now. Well, not to the moon, but let's see how high it can go. If I zoom back a little bit, I mean, I don't know. I mean, this was dramatic. I don't think we do that again. But if we get anywhere near 31, that might be a good place to sell. Brendo?
Things were amazing yesterday in the afternoon. Just no bid whatsoever on any of the cannabis names into the close. Twilio, guys, we talked about in the pre-market this morning. Wednesday aftermarket, positive earnings. Yesterday aftermarket, big offering announced, but look what's happening. Just broke that last little pivot there. 430 got taken out on a big volume spike. Twilio back to the upside, guys.
Nice little spike there, guys. And of course, with that high of day break on Tilray, that's easy enough for me to get out when Sundial broke that 134. There was a breakdown. Remember Watt? I traded this one heavily in the pre-market, and then missed this opening trade here. It's going to happen every now and then. I couldn't get the execution through 580, but waited for this 5 level to break patiently. It just did. I took 495 to the short side, so got a lot of slippage there, relatively speaking at least. Was hoping for like 1 or 2 pennies. First out was at 90 when it sort of comes to the downside. I go back to, and this is all the way back to 7 a.m. There was a huge jump on Watt at 7 a.m. You guys can figure out why that'll happen. Up to like $3. So these levels that it worked into, where there was some consolidation before that jump on light volume, that's where the target outs are going to be. So I'm bidding all the way through 460 here, or to 460 on this 495 short. So back into Watt. And the next Watt I want to see outside of hopefully getting a winning trade here, which we already sort of have, is Mr. JJ. Please join the Buffalo Bills. I think it'd be a fantastic move for you. Put us over the top so we can get that ship. Although, Sean, I think he might also be a good fit for your team as well.
Well, yeah. I mean, the Packers right now, you know what? The thing is, Tom Brady can probably play another 5 years, but we'll see about J.J. Watt. Normally, the Packers don't go out into free agency and do anything, but yeah, we probably are just, I mean, I think we played better anyways than Tampa, but we got busted on some of those plays, like our D, like what the hell? Maybe we need some corners there. Look, I can keep talking about Palantir all I want. I said earlier in the pre-market that we could hit 29. I had no idea the kind of pipe dream that I'd be having today on this name, up to $30 now. It's just been a fantastic run. The largest stock on the desk by far for either one of us, Palantir today, and the profits are just in on this name. I'm still holding. It's just going. I didn't really believe this 29 break. Should have. Didn't know we had this kind of mustered into us. We bought options yesterday. We bought shares yesterday. And right now, some good ideas. It doesn't mean this can't fade out, but look, if you want to follow somebody on Twitter, do it, because we did talk about this all yesterday. Here it goes through $30, guys. Checking on a daily chart. I even brought this up to Mark Roberts today about Palantir. Look, we're breaking out. This is why we buy, man. I talked about the 3 days, right? First day, it's right here. First day, second day, third day, right? We buy the dips. It holds 25. Staring us in the face. We do that, bang to the upside. Maybe we get that PS5 or that TV a little earlier than we thought, guys. Tilray still 50 cents in the money, CTXR 10 cents, CCL 50 cents, Palantir $1.80, and we go on and on and on, but we do not have QS anymore, as we've dropped that off as well. And thank you so much. Just came through right there. Kyle Elkins, thank you for the $10. Everyone's loving PLTR. And I see you guys too are over there at Cactus Club. I'll be bringing some shares over to that place and dropping some money when we're reopened there. That's Cactus Club. I know that we have the chefs and some of the team watching that. I don't know if we're ready for Brendan or Neil or whatever, but I got to take a drink.
And I want to come back to Tilray because it's approaching $30 for you guys. It's continuing to press up now. It's worth noting that Sundial is sort of lagging this move a little bit. That's why I want to look for the next resistance point. I'm going to show you in yesterday's action, there was a tiny cluster on the north side of $30. So in the event that that's going to be the turn, I'd rather express the trade by shorting Sundial. So going back to the well in terms of something that's worked for me in the past, and you're seeing Sundial push into like 140. This is also yesterday's bottom at 138. So if we start turning on Tilray, which it seems like we are, I'm going to jump into a short around this price area on Sundial. It is 11 o'clock. That means that we need to go to the big screen for the European update with Miss Valeria.
Hey guys, European markets are mixed, mostly in a positive territory. Switzerland is down 0.03%. Russia is up 1.69%. Spain is up 1.11%. And Italy is up 0.95%. Luxury fashion brand Moncler is up 5.81% after posting its full-year earnings. Back to the traders.
Thank you very much, Ms. V. Like I said, the Palantir actually started making a turn off of $30 as well. So I don't want to confuse these two stocks too much. But 30 even on Tilray and 30 even on Palantir. It's the Tilray turn, potential turn, at least the one that I'm watching right here for a short position in Sundial, which is right at that 140 mark. So I'm going to have both of these up and watching them both very, very closely. But the execution is going to come on Sundial. Brendan?
Well, guys, apparently in talks with a LiDAR company, so take your pick. They're all kind of popping up right now on volume. You can have a look at this one, Microvision, Luminar, Laser. There's a few at this point, but they haven't disclosed which one. So the entire group moving, guys.
All right, guys. We're kicked up our feet here a little bit. We'll hit that smoking weed. Neil's talking about Tilray at 30, and we're already long. So we got 80 cents right now in the money. And look, I'm loving all these super chats coming through today. Thank you so much, guys. Palantir, hold my beer. Watch this. Yes, exactly. Hold those beers, guys. Hold them close and don't drink too many of them because you got to be straight-minded here to make sure that you have some of these plays on board. But yeah, I'm kicking it up and just relaxing right now. Let's see if Tilray wants to go even higher there. This is a 70-cent win. Palantir's $1.50 in the money. We are waiting to see. Wait a second. I didn't get long yet. Neo. When that comes in, maybe I'll get a little bit more, less casual, I should say. Getting ready to enjoy the interview with J.R. Ron coming from MindMed. That should be exciting. But right now, we're just laughing at some of these trades here. It's been a big day for us. I'm just slowing down a little bit. I still have a little bit of a headache, so we continue to drink our water, stay healthy. Oh, a big shout out here. I have something to show you guys here on the Yeti. Maybe we've got to trade this. My kid gave me this. This is Mr. Cheese, apparently, if you guys trade Among Us. So I said I want that because of Green Bay. So there's Mr. Cheese. Shout out to you, my main man. There it is on my cup. I'm joining you. He has someone else on his cup. I don't remember who it is, but there's Mr. Cheese. If my wife's watching this, show this to my man.
and just going to go back to that sort of Ladar story there, I said under my breath that's a fade, and I saw MVIS there. And when there's no specifics in terms of a move like that, in terms of what stock it's going to be, what company it's going to be, I immediately pulled up the time frame. MVIS took a dump yesterday. I knew that because I was shorting it. So you look at this 1980 level that it turned at. I think $20 even is a bit of a level. I short 1980. So look. I immediately find the first resistance point if I think it's going to be a fade in the stock that I was the most comfortable with, and immediately it starts to come back in for me here. Quickly take like a 25, 30 cent win on the first quarter of that position. If it comes all the way back, which I've seen happen in the past, I spot 19 is a bit of a breakout point. It was resistance all morning long, so I'd definitely be all flat if it goes like 60 or 70 cents in the money. But again, that's how you can sort of trade, I guess, actionable news with these big parabolic spikes. First things first, find a stock that you're comfortable with in that space. MVIS, because I traded it yesterday, was one I jumped to. Brendan?
Yeah, just remember this is not the first time that this rumor or news has come about as well. Even Apple going here. So a nice pop on Apple here, guys, on that headline as well. Trying to wake up from its hibernation that it's been in for the past couple of weeks. Heads up there, 130.80 on Apple. Could be interesting, guys.
Yeah, I'll look at some Apple. I'm just writing a few little emails here as we go, getting ready for our big interview coming through very, very soon with J.R. Ron from MindMed. We're just watching SNDL here. I do think, we are long Tilray, big time trade there with Weed Batman. Yes, I'm in the building, so you don't have to worry. We are taking out that 139 right now. We'll see if it can get going. I think we can break 150, so we'll see it on Sundial there if it goes. Tilray's a big one. Oh, look. And again, lots of great trades here today, but I can't say enough. Dan McIsaac, you're welcome. Palantir, boom on that one. New member alert, thank you so much. Palantir, what he talked about, that's one. Thank you, Keyshawn, for sure. There, and Edgar, thank you so much for Palantir as well. 100K in Palantir, currently 8K in profit. If that's your share, that's not shares, I guess, because you'd be way more in the money than that. If that's money-wise, 8%, not a bad return. Edgar, take some off is my advice. And then Keith, you are damn well welcome for that. Thank you for the $10. Again, it does mean a lot to us. A little bit goes a long way. Again, we're doing the show for free every day here on YouTube, and we just hope that you guys like it because we sure as hell like doing it for you. So that's been a big day, man. And I'm just going to relax, take it easy, and let's just keep finding winners for you. But right now, it's been a perfect day.
Yeah, and like we said, it's always, about the Super Chats, it's always appreciated, guys. Of course, we do the show for free, as Sean mentioned. So that's why we ask you guys to hit that like. It's about growing that community because realistically, traders all learn from each other. It's sort of about that sort of a collective experience. Some of you guys will see the things we're showing on level 2 and say, hey, I already understand that. But others are learning for the first time. And we all can always grow as traders. You're never done your growth. I used to absolutely stink when we started this show. If there was actionable news and a big volume spike, I basically would stay away from it until it settled down. But now I'm looking for ways to play these moves like the MBIS when it came in here, guys. So, this is what you're trying to do here. We try to explain these plays for you so that you can see what's on our minds. Just to come back to Tilray for a second, just because it did turn off that $30 level, did pull back. I'm trying to get shares on Sundial, but I've been passive, sort of using midpoints and just sitting on the offer, so as not to pay an extra penny or two when I'm taking 4 or 5 cent wins. So that's the only reason I'm not in. But I just got some shares at 38.5. So if Tilray continues this pullback, I think Sundial, 38.5 to 39, and then short that into like the 130 to 135 range should be a good one. But I'll be watching Tilray like an absolute hawk. If this takes out the high of the day, if it breaks 30, there's no way I want to be net short in Sundial. If it's back testing 40 even, guys, I'm watching those two together, trading them back to back off of each other. But my positions are usually going to be in Sundial. Did take a winner this morning in Tilray, but that was a pre-market trade.
I hope you guys, and again, I'm trading everything now. Neil just said, learning more and more. That's what you got to do because it's just definitely worked out for me as well. I even learned more today. Trade some of these names that are at the bottom of our watch list because, yeah, they actually move pretty smooth and a lot smoother than some of these other ones. So, yes, we're learning every day as well. Okay, and if I learned to maybe trust my own self as well. 72 on Riot was a good trade. We talked about that in the pre-market going back to yesterday's high. It did hit it, bounced around a little bit, then touches 75. So yeah, good trading there. So what we're doing right now is we're just digging in. I'm pretty small on Palantir, so I know it goes up to 30. Now it's dropped back down. Like I said, I'm surprised at the move this had today anyways. So I think that this is now going to be profit taking back down to the downside. We're still holding very, very small on Palantir, so I'm not too worried about it. Obviously, I would have liked to get out at 30 if we saw some of that consolidation. I don't really know. You know, there's really no doji star up here to give me that indication. Some of these bad wicks, obviously, on the downside didn't happen. But I guess you probably could have got out right around here. 29.70 would have been a decent spot to get out if you were hella long on Palantir. Like I said, take some profits, guys. Just because lockup period is over doesn't mean they all came off yesterday. Very, very important to remember that. I can't say that enough. And thank you so much. Look, no matter what is given. Oh, and I saw rolling records. Also, you mentioned that you did give a super chat, and I didn't mention you. So thank you for that. And then C. Camilio. What's up, Camilio there? $5. Thank you so much. FCell's moving. Yeah, ETH. Thank God that's off to the moon. Look, I mean, this has just been a great 2021 as far as investing, and some of these calls have gone. My next one that we're going to watch out for here, and it could be completely wrong, is Rocket. So I do like Rocket companies right now. We'll see what goes with this report next week. We can double check the earnings report, but it is coming next. I believe it's the 25th. So this is a name that I'm long right now, long higher than this. So you can beat me if you want to get involved on this name, but I do like it. That's Rocket. We do have J.R. Ron coming from MyMed very, very soon. I'm very, very excited to check out what's new with MyMed, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And like we always try to, it's about a learning experience here, as we say over and over again. So make sure you pipe in, because we talk about the cannabis space all together, and sometimes it's good to learn about new things that you might not be as familiar with. So I think that's where MyMed is going to fall into it. Before we get to that, and I know you guys are excited for that guest, remember CTXR? Yeah, I mean, I got out in front of VWAP here, where we had this 2 shorts off of, well, yeah, technically like 2.5, 3 shorts. It's really more two positions off of $2. And I got out at VWAP. And the reason I thought 185 was going to be resistance, support, this has turned into 1, 2, 3 times it's testing it. This breaks 185. I'm going to go short on that breakdown trade. This is a time of day the volume is tapering off. You could have one of those nice little quick flushes, and of course, 75 remains a bit of a target. I was able to get it one time off the open, well, shortly after the open at 950. If it breaks 85, hopefully we can get that again. So I find myself in only shorts. For the time being, we'll see if we can't get some long positions before the end of the day, or ideas before the end of the day. But 185 break on CTXR, likely the next trade you're going to see me in.
Okay, you're not going to see me in any more trades. So you can see here, QS, guys, a good little long there. Thanks, Nick's Picks. Just brought that up to you there. Thank you for bringing that up to our attention. I said I was going to hold this, and then it broke this 63, so that changed my mind. Could have got right back in at that exact same level again. See ya, QS. You guys know we're long $50 on this one, so okay, maybe we'll get some more. I still think we can get to 70 on that name. Palantir jumping around here. Maybe we'll just get it off. 29.20 here, end of the trade, and just put all this money in our pocket today for that name. So we are loving, obviously loving some Palantir today. And then Neo, just slowly getting in. I took a 20 there. We're going to use a break down lower, man, like 54.75. If we break it down a couple minutes, actually, hold on a second. Let me just show this to you here on a 20-minute chart. You can see 54 breaking, but I'm kind of looking at these levels. These levels, 54.75 on the downside. And unlike other shows, man, we're giving you guys reasonable levels and reasonable risk properties here. So I hope that it makes sense for you guys. We're going to keep going long. I'm going to dig in a little bit here, but not until we get to 55, and then again at 54.80, guys. But big day ahead. Still lots to go. It's Friday. Take some profits if you have them now, and let's see what happens in the afternoon.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're just maybe moments away from our guest. I do want to come back. I mean, we've talked about Palantir over and over again, and I said, 30 turning around on Tilray, but 30 turning around a bit on Palantir. You start to think about those power hour type of ideas, or say, call it lunchtime trades or afternoon trades, whichever one you happen to prefer. And let's not forget what Palantir did at VWAP all morning long. So you start thinking about this 28.25 level if it ever comes into play. Now, it's already pulled back $1, so it's not crazy that it can test this. I would much prefer if it holds above. So look at this like 28.30 or 28.40, that 10-cent range, probably for, I would say on a dip buy, like a day trade here, probably a better level than sort of just standing right in front of it at VWAP at 28.20 or so. So I'd look at that 28.30 to 28.40 for a dip buy. you're risking 15 cents there. It doesn't have to go all the way to the high of the day for it to make sense on a risk to reward. So looking for this Palantir dip is a bit of an opportunity, but it hasn't even pulled back. It hasn't even pulled back within 50 cents of VWAP at this point. So patience is a virtue. You guys have waited patiently, and now we have our guest of the day. Let's go to Brendan for the introduction.
Guys, it was an amazing end to 2020 for MindMed shares traded here in Toronto, up significantly. You can see this is a daily chart. 150 down here, topped out above 650. We're off to an equally strong start once again in the new year here for MMED shares. Again, this is the Toronto listing. You can check them out on the OTC market as well. CEO, co-founder, and board director J.R. Ron back with us. If you've been watching the show for any length of time, you might recognize J.R. when we get him on here. We're going to talk about some exciting news that they released earlier in the week. An acquisition. The company they acquired is called Health Mode, an AI-focused healthcare company. So we're going to talk about what the acquisition of Health Mode brings to, there he is, MindMed. There he is, J.R. Ron joining us once again. Good to see you once again, J.R. Thanks for doing this. We appreciate your time. As always, let's talk about Health Mode here. What is this acquisition intended for, and what does MindMed get as part of this transaction?
Well, I think if you look at drug development and you look at the broader healthcare space, even in a post-COVID world, it's going more digital, right? The economists said that the pandemic might cause the next trillion-dollar industry with digital medicine. And so as a company, we're always looking to innovate. And we're always looking to build up the best possible team. And so in Health Mode, we found a new chief medical officer who set up the digital therapeutics division with others at Pfizer. I mean, this is Dr. Dan Carlin, and is bringing a huge amount of firepower. We've also added a chief technology officer, Bradford Cross, who's a machine learning aficionado and very well respected in those circles, was early at Google, helped build the LinkedIn newsfeed. All that stuff is going to be really, really relevant as we create medicines that ultimately can interact better with patients. And so we have now a 24-person engineering and product team for digital medicine that's going to integrate with all of our clinical trials, but also allow us to build out Albert, which I've talked about before here, and that ultimately we see as a comprehensive digital medicine platform for psychedelic medicines. And I think it's going to be key to becoming the leader in this space is who is going to help deliver these medicines and launch potential blockbuster drugs. And we've made that step with Health Mode.
CEO, board director, and co-founder J.R. Ron of MindMed. I want to talk a little bit more about Albert here as we get a little bit further, but let's talk about the term digital medicine first. For those maybe not familiar with that term, it's fairly new when you talk about this space. If you had to explain digital medicine to somebody who might not be familiar, J.R., how would you do that?
Well, I think what digital medicine ultimately is going to achieve is better measurement of a particular indication or illness. Like right now, it's very difficult to diagnose whether somebody has depression or anxiety. It's also a little bit difficult for care providers to know when somebody has fully relapsed. And so we're going to try to give the care providers and the patients the tools that they need to connect better and ultimately allow them to understand how their mental health is affecting their mind and body, because that is MindMed's mission. MindMed's mission is to really attack this mental health crisis that is growing. And it is growing out of control right now because of COVID-19. And so with these tools, we hope that folks, once we can get drugs approved, but also once we can get certain applications and measurements approved, this can be very, very helpful for mental health. I think the biggest, sort of outcome in the digital medicine space recently has been the Apple Watch, right? Where it can actually measure your blood flow. And there's all these different biomarkers that we're going to be able to understand better in clinical trials that can eventually scale to the entire mental health space.
Now, you mentioned AI briefly to begin here. When it comes to artificial intelligence, it seems to be applicable to all sectors these days, and now getting into the medical side of things. How do you see AI, or what role, I should say, do you see AI taking in this?
Well, I think really a lot of times mental illness is just vastly misunderstood, right? In how you treat a patient, right? There's so many different ways. It's not just you give somebody a pill and that's going to be fine. I think what we're going to really pioneer here in the AI space around mental health is what is working best. And let's self-correct for that over time as a company. And so we'll put something out on the market and be able to understand and learn if that's actually working. And that's really important for us as a drug development company and now a technology company. I think we're as much a technology company as a drug development company now. What is, I think, the most important thing, though, is proving to insurers that these solutions to mental health are actually working. And that is how we're going to extrapolate more value from the system, but also heal a lot of people at the same time.
So when it comes to Albert, the platform that the company is still continuing to develop with this acquisition and bettering, when do we see this taking more of a significant role in the overall marketplace?
Well, we started working on an integration project already for our anxiety program with digital medicine. And I think you could start to see some products from MindMed in the App Store very, very soon this year. I mean, these are things that some may need to get FDA certification and approvals, but that's a much lower bar compared to what we have to do on our psychedelic medicine program. So I would look out for this division actually growing into a big part of what we do that complements psychedelic medicines this year.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the development side of things. We'll switch gears a little bit here. CEO, board director, and co-founder J.R. Ron with us, guys, from MindMed. Also, recently kicking off a new drug discovery partnership with Swiss startup MindShift Compounds that also raised new funding for the company as well. Tell us about that partnership.
Well, that's crucial. I think as a company, we want to have the most diverse pipeline in the space, right? But we want that pipeline to also be targeted on things that we have high confidence in. And so everything that we work on, we are going to more or less work on it ourselves. We're not going to outsource that work. With MindShift, they are responsible for finding new molecules and discovering them. Our job is to develop them. And I think there's been a lot of talk about, novel psychedelic molecules. We have a bit of a different approach on this, and we'll be providing more information in the market. But ultimately, I think that the MDMA space is going to be very, very interesting for something that we are working on. And hopefully we're going to get a new MDMA style molecule in the clinic within a year. That is the objective of this new collaboration with MindShift. They're based in Switzerland, and we look to really leverage our Swiss development platform at the University Hospital Basel to get these molecules into humans as soon as possible. Now, let's not talk about 8 to 10 years of preclinical work on some of these molecules that I think you're starting to see other companies talk about. If it's not in a human, you're very, very far away from commercializing that. And so we want to build an early stage portfolio of novel molecules that we can get into humans as quickly as possible. I think that's one of the key things about MindMed is we're very practical on how we move these things forward.
So as the space continues to grow and gain popularity, JR, how close, in your opinion, are we as a society to these types of treatments being accepted on a broader scale, without a bit of a stigma attached still?
Look, I think we're going to get over the stigma very quickly. We're just in the last year since I've been coming on this show, I mean, the stigma has changed with my friends. I've seen in the media really pick up what we're doing and what MindMed is in acting as a leader. What I will say is the seminal question that needs to be answered for this space, more than stigma at this point, is how do you commercialize these substances and get them to all Americans, right? After the drug approvals come, okay? We still have to prove that they're safe and effective, but let's say in 3 to 4 years, how are we actually gonna scale this? 60% of US counties don't have psychiatrists in them. We do not believe in the clinic model. We don't think that real estate scales. But we do believe that technology scales humans. And ultimately, we're going to have to train therapists, and we're going to have psychiatrists and special operations centers that are helping to launch these drugs. And we're going to build that platform, and we're going to become a leader in the space on that.
It's a closely watched space indeed, and very exciting as we move into the new year. As I said, it's an exciting time for MindMed. J.R. Ron, CEO, board director, and co-founder. We appreciate your time as always. We'll look forward to another update.
Thank you so much.
There we go, guys. A little bit of a look at MindMed. I mean, just an impressive move, to say the least, as we've talked about on this show into the end of last year. And here we go again, guys. Another positive start to the year for MindMed.
Yes, sir. The list of trending names to the upside does continue. You saw the chart up there. Thank you for pointing out the change in the ticker. We got that too on the OTC markets. It trades in it trades in the NEO exchange here in Canada, and then of course in the OTC in the US. Look, we only have about 5 minutes to go before the end of the show, so a couple of things just to go over. I am going to get back into that CTXR, which I already did. Some at 95, and it's going back to that $2 range, but. Sometimes you put a bit of a target in, and we're going to miss here on Palantir. I thought like 28.30 to 28.40. It would be stronger if it didn't test all the way into VWAP. It's trying to put a bounce off of 28.50. So I don't know. Sometimes keep it simple, stupid, right? Like it's just evens, quarters, and 50s. If they're going to be working, maybe stick to that because it just bounces off of 50 and goes right to 29. So maybe file that kind of an idea away. But I did also want to come back to that CTXR. About the 80th time that I've jumbled that one up. It pops off the 185. Still like it for a breakdown trade, but I am shorting any of these pops as long as they continue to work, which this one already is. Down into VWAP, then 185. We'll keep rinsing and repeating. Time to get to Berendo. I think we have some earnings, not too many on tap.
Yeah, end of the week, guys. Typical for a Friday, not a heck of a lot as far as earnings aftermarket tonight. Before the open on Monday, though, one that we were looking at today in the middle of this board. Go ahead, guys. There we go. Yeah, RCL coming on Monday.
Yeah, RCL over the weekend, but I did want to bring everyone's attention right now.
Mike.
Oh, my microphone. I don't even have my microphone on. Yeah, that's a good one. I actually went and got, I guess can't keep talking. Just go ahead, Neil.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, RCL making moves today, and of course we talked about this with CCL making some moves earlier on in the week. Look, I'm not the most sort of overly bullish on how the rollouts have been going, but we were talking earlier on in the week about some things in the Caribbean showing some signs of picking up and some vacation destinations. People are eager for recreational travel. I don't know so much about business, and I think that might lend itself to some of these names pushing back up, but I don't think earnings are going to look very, very good for RCL. Maybe that gives you an opportunity on a dip, but these stocks have already been running into it. So it just seems like to me there could be a pullback in almost either way this plays out for us guys here in RCL over the weekend.
So this is what I was going to say here. Crypto land, watch out, guys. Bitcoin. As soon as it breaks 53, it's going to 55. It come close to that 5450, 54,500 right there in crypto land. So congratulations if you're a crypto holder like I am, and like a lot of you probably are. Good for you. It's been kind of an easy trade, that's for sure. And then you want to talk about. No negative stocks today, so we're going to give a big punch to everybody out there. This is more like one of these daps. What is that, what the young kids call it right now? Let's go, guys. If you've been following me today, I'm at the highest spot I've been at all day today. Look at that NEO trade, man. We put that on at 55.05. We talked about, I gave you the downside of 54.70. Nothing comes in. Now we're 30, 40 cents in the money. We were. Now it's come back in, but look at that. Just cash that out. Putting everything to the top of the board today. It's been a big day, man. 11:28 right now. Thank you for joining. Thank you for watching. Pick up one of these shirts if you want to on our site. It's there, and it's been a big day. I want to thank Nick Pick. Neil just did that as well, but thank you so much for the $50. So hold my beer, no problem on that one. The Nick's Picks, man, worth 1,000 times more on the like. So thank you so much for all of that. But it's been a big day, and it's going to continue to be that. So thank you for joining. Thank you for watching. Right now, NEO to the moon, SNDL. We have 3 cents in the money on that long, and we have Tilray long as well. So not only am I here, but also in the building is Weed Batman as we go 2 for 2 on weed stocks.
One more thing before we get out of here, and it's been tasty all week, and I don't think it's, actually, you already know that it's not going to deviate from the normal pattern. Things that I would like to be enjoying for lunchtime. What national day is it? Let's go to Ms. V to find out, and she's dressed accordingly.
Thank you, Neil. And hey, guys, I hope you enjoyed this trading week with us. And I hope next week will be even better for all of us also. Thank you for all the super chats. Special thank you to Nick's Picks for $80 super chat, encouraging you to hit your thumbs up, guys. Please don't leave without liking our video because your support is super important to us. We will see you on Monday, and happy National Chocolate Mint Day.
So here's the thing. It's tasty, and I like all kinds of chocolate, but my least favorite type of chocolate is probably chocolate mint. Like, if I had to choose, there's nothing wrong with it. Like, I'll eat it if it's what's there, but if I'm choosing between a selection, it's just never going to be the first for me. I don't know. I'm probably in the minority because my wife loves it, my daughter loves it. I'm sure everyone else does, and you guys can roast me for not loving chocolate mint as much as probably everyone else around the world, guys. But it's certainly tasty. I don't know what your thoughts are. I know Brennan's not always with the sweet tooth, so he comes with something fancy. What about you, Sean?
Yeah, no, I'm the same way. I'm not a big chocolate mint guy myself, so I will pass on that hardcore. But like you said, O'Neill, there are a lot of fans of things like that. So chocolate mint, for me, no. What were those little mints that used to get in the packages? Can't remember what those are called. After 8. Good one there,
Wow.
Brendan. Brendan, good call. Mint guy yourself?
I wonder why.
Not terribly, but once a year, around the holidays, we typically get after 8s, guys.
Yeah, after 8's good one.
Oh man, that is cold, Tyrone. Leave it to a Bills fan not to like talk chocolate mints. I mean, whatever. And I think Bills fans are fantastic because we're the best. Bills Mafia forever. That's what I'm going to say. But of course, Trader TV Live Mafia. That's what we're all about here. Thank you guys so much for being a part of this community, for being a part of the show. We're all family here, and we're having a lot of fun doing it, and lots of good opportunities in this market. I know next week will be the same and going forward, but unfortunately, we do have to get out of here. So, without further ado, for Miss V, green like the markets, for Sean on March Friday with the hoodie, and for Brennan Wickens, I'm Neil Roberts. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Trader TV Live. We'll see you next week. Bye, guys.
Yeah.